This is Friday, July 10th. There are 12 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2026. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog.
VANUHTEE go. Oh my god, I love LiveJournal, and my LiveJournal loves me. Current mood is hyperactive, current music, refuse 73. I love the color scheme, it's pink and purple, it looks dreamy.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, James Riley, and joining me on the podcast, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us.
And also joining us tonight from the unofficial blog, Erin Tapkin.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so welcome to SDConCast. We'll be taking comments and questions throughout the show, mostly because it's just us. We're just here chatting today. But this is the first of two schedule breakdowns. We're going to cover Thursday and Friday. We're going to cover the major, larger rooms. We're going to go through what's in them. We're going to discuss room flow, when to line up, in general terms of being able to get into the room, not to get front row. You deal with that on your own. This is just to make sure you can get into the room. And then we'll maybe give some dark horse picks of little fun panels in the smaller rooms and go from there.
So I do just want to say one thing real quick. So if you have never been to San Diego Comic-Con before, you may not know, they do not clear the rooms between panels. So basically, like, if you get in there for the very first panel, like, you can stay all day long. That is very different to how most conventions do it. So again, like, what we're going to talk about is, like, when we talk about lineup times, we're definitely talking about what time you have to make it into the room, because the whole thing with Comic-Con is, like, it all depends on what else is in that room. Like, your panel could be like 5 people want to see it, but if the panel after it is like Marvel, like, that's a problem, because there's going to be a lot of people sitting there for the next panel. So you really have to, like, look at everything that's in the room kind of like as you're planning your how to do this. So that's my little speech.
You have to look at what's in front of you and what's coming after you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
So unlike past years, for many years now, there is no Wednesday programming. It previously used to be just some pilots or season premieres or something like that, but they do not do anything about that. So we are going to start on Thursday, and we're going to start with the smallest of the rooms we cover for this particular breakdown, and that is room 7AB, which holds around 480 people. And we're going to kick it off with what starts the convention at 10 a.m. with Droid Builders, How to Build a Droid 101. And that is basically a panel about exactly what the title says. Then we have at 11, the 7th Annual Game Changers, a conversation with women behind popular film and TV projects. And that features a bunch of women from composers and sound supervisors and directors and writers and all kinds of people talking about being a woman in film and TV. At noon, we have 3rd Annual From Script to Screen, behind the camera of film and TV. And it features creatives from things like Spider Noir, Scary Movie 6, My Adventures with Superman, Shrinking, I think is what that's supposed to be, and more. And then at 1 p.m., we have the 3rd Annual Fan Favorites, behind the scenes of popular film and TV shows. So these are all, if you'll notice, kind of like very similar themed, and because they're all part of Impact 24 PR's panel super block. So they just like schedule all of them at once. This one is, again, creators behind things from Obsession, Euphoria, One Piece, Spider Noir, The Boys, and Paradise. Costume designers, editors, and such, talking about the things that they make. At 2 p.m., we have Mondo Toy Talk, and this features some of the creatives behind Mondo, including moderator Brian Starr, Hector Arce, Peter Santa Maria, Alex Brewer, Jordan Christensen, and Nolan Fleming, talking about all things Mondo. And it says a giveaway is scheduled for attendees while supplies last. At 3 p.m., Comics Will Break Your Heart, Coping Conversation for Fans and Creators. This is an acclaimed comic book creator and a licensed therapist lead a conversation about mental health in comics. covering burnout, creative blocks, toxic fandoms, and staying resilient. And then at 4 p.m., we have Buffy podcast, revamped with Juliet Landau. Juliet Landau, who played Drusilla on Buffy and Angel, is doing a podcast all about Buffy, and they are going to be recording a live version of it during the panel. At 5 p.m., we have Robservations Live. It is another podcast recording, this time with Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, and Youngblood co/creator Rob Liefeld, who is always entertaining. And at 6, by the way, this thing goes on forever. At 6, Anaplex of America industry panel. Staff member Shelby Tozier and Anthony Ferranda celebrate the company Anaplex of America. And then we have 4 decades of Robotech, and I'm sure most of you know what Robotech is. And this is about all things Robotech. And then at 8 p.m., and we're not done. Oh, no, we are done. 8 p.m. is it. What constitutes an ethnic film today? And this features guests Rich Ting, Simon Reed, Jackie Dallas, Teresa Navarro, and Andrew Choi, with moderator Francis Kong, talking about all things of what constitutes an ethnic film in today's world. And that is it. That's a lot of stuff.
Yes, it is. That is a whole lot of stuff. But having said that, do we think anything is going to pack this room? I don't think so, honestly.
I mean, the only
Rob
thing...
Liefeld is a draw.
Yeah, and the only thing I was thinking is that
he's late.
Yes, he is late.
So later
Thursday.
Later definitely tends to have fewer folks who stick around, because by that time, like, everybody's hungry. Everybody's kind of done with the convention. So maybe, but I don't think you'll have any trouble with that one.
The Mondo being listing a giveaway also is probably the spike for the day.
Yeah.
So the attendees, the spikes of the day of attendees is going to be Mondo and Rob. And that means if you want to see Rob, show up for Rob. Don't worry about it. Just skip, pass over Mondo, because you have plenty of time to get in there for Rob. And I'm really, really interested to see just what kind of crowd the Buffy podcast gets, because of course Buffy is a huge fan favorite. But it's just a matter of whether or not that gets, a lot of people showing up for it, because that is right in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that was the one I was curious about, especially with the relaunching of the comic book series. And I wondered if they'd get some more people in there that are getting ready for that to come out. So we'll see.
Yeah. So if you are concerned about any of those 3 that we mentioned, Mondo, Buffy, and Rob, then I would say you probably need to show up during the panel before. Not like 2 minutes before, maybe 15 to 30 minutes before, just depending. But I think that if you're concerned, definitely show up a little bit early. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to have to worry about any of these. And now remember that even though they list the times as going from 4 to 5 p.m., they usually end them about 10 minutes before the hour, so that there's a 10-minute gap of coming and going. So if you show up about 10 minutes before, you're going to catch the end of the panel and catch the coming and going and be able to just probably get right into most of these panels.
Yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to answer one question in the chat. Ultra Boy asked, which line do we join to get into a 10 a.m. panel in one of these smaller rooms? So before you get into the convention center, if you're like, I want to get there before they even open, the line outside will be the very first shoot under the tents. It's called the everything else line. It is everything other than Hall H. And then once they let that in, which is usually around 5 a.m., 6 a.m.,
I think it's closer to 7 these days.
I think it's earlier than that.
Between 6 and 7.
I think it's earlier than that, but maybe. But they let you in, and then from there, you'll just go line up at your specific room.
Yeah. So when you're they're going to you're going to go in through G. You're going to go up the escalators. You're going to go all the way down to in between Ballroom 20 and the sales. And then there will be people holding signs to direct you with the thing you want, whether that's Ballroom 20 or everything else, or the sale pavilion for the autograph selections, things like that. You will have signs to tell you where to go.
Yep, for sure. Okay, let's move on to room 60E, which this one is a little bit bigger. It holds 884. So we start the day off with Maya, From Mexico to the World in Animation, which is Mexican director Ricardo Arnez bringing his upcoming animated film that has been 25 years in the making. And then that is at 10:15 a.m. And then at 11:30, we have DC's Jim Lee and Friends, which he does this panel every year. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It is Jim Lee bringing some TBA big names just to talk comics. And then at 12:45 is the actual spotlight on Jim Lee, in which he will look back on his 35 plus years in comics. At 2 p.m. is Black Hammer, the 10th anniversary celebration, with best-selling cartoonist Jeff Lemire from Sweet Tooth and other creators talking about the world of Black Hammer. And then at 3:15 p.m. is the Year of Jack Kirby, a star-studded celebration. And this one has some huge names on it, including Tom King, Mark Waid, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Nick Dragotta, along with Tracy Kirby, Jeremy Kirby, and pop culture historian Roy Schwartz as they look back on Jack Kirby's career. At 4:30 is one of my favorite panel titles, The Cuphead Show 2, Electric Boogaloo. Good job. Good job, guys. That is going to be the cast and crew of the Cuphead show, which includes Drew Valentino, Frank Todaro, Joe Hanna, and more. And then at 5:45 p.m. is the Tony Swatton Next Chapter, which is a legendary blacksmith and prop maker, Tony Swatton, as he looks back across all of his work in more than 300 films. And he's got several famous friends with him who've also worked behind the scenes, like V. Neal, who worked on Pirates of the Caribbean, Isaac C. Shingleton Jr., and others who worked on everything from like Deadpool to more. At 7 p.m. is When the Void Screams Back, the latest in sci-fi horror. And this has a bunch of award-winning sci-fi horror authors, including Peter Clines, Jedidiah Gammon, Jean-Paul Garnier, Scott Sigler, Casey Griffin, and more. And then at 8:15 p.m. is a 2-hour panel because it is Stan Lee, the Final Chapter exclusive documentary screening, in which they are going to screen this documentary, and it has never before seen footage and firsthand accounts and more. And yeah, that's it.
It's a bit of a sad way to end the day, right?
Yeah.
I think that documentary is gonna be pretty emotional especially for some people.
It's not gonna be a happy time.
No.
No.
But you have Cuphead earlier in the day, a few hours, so that'll get you all happy.
Yep.
And of course the block, the 2-hour or 2+ hour, whatever it is, block of Jim Lee panels are the choke point of the day, which is good that they are early. And also, the first panel of the day is going to have a nearly full room as everyone just gets in there for Jim Lee. So hopefully the people who are actually interested in that Maya panel will actually be able to make it. Because I know that Jim Lee gets a ton of people for his panels.
And the Jeff Lemire one right after it too. I mean, he's no slouch himself in the writing department, and the art department. So he'll be,
Tom King and Mark Waid in the
it's
Kirby panel.
It's a lot of heavy comic hitters.
Yeah. So basically, yes, you need to line up. Most likely, need to line up before the first panel if you want to see Jim Lee.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree with that completely. I would be there probably by like 9 at the latest.
Yeah, and I don't know if we mentioned it, but during the second one, the spotlight, he will sit there and draw live while he's doing the Q&A. So it's really fun. So you not only get to hear a panel, but see him work, which is really fun.
And Swag Collector in the chat just said that one also usually has a freebie. So yeah. There's probably a
so
giveaway.
Basically, these are going to be very crowded, and then it's going to just diminish as the day goes on in how popular they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I don't think you'll have trouble with anything except Jim Lee, but that does also mean that if you want to go to that very first panel, you need to contend with the Jim Lee fans.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's
right.
move on to 6A. Aaron.
Yes, room 6A. It holds approximately 1,040 people. And it is starting the day off at 10 a.m. with Meet the New Media Studio. And it's going to have Felicia Day, Todd Stashwick, Matt Medney, Barbara Dillon, and more. And they're going to be discussing new media studios, how they work, the ever-changing landscape, and what can be learned from the historical indie art movements. After that, at 11:15 is Mattel's annual WWE reveals, and this one is exciting for me. Very nice, very evil. Danhausen will be there, and he has been threatening to curse Mattel if Mattel doesn't do a Danhausen figure. So hopefully they will be announcing it. But they've also got Rey Mysterio listed and Sam Roberts as well, plus more surprise appearances. After that, at 12:30, it's Malcolm and Friends, and this is actor and entertainer Malcolm Barrett, and he hosts a panel of industry friends and blurreds or black nerds. Ahmed Best, Carl Jones, Seth Green, who isn't necessarily a black nerd, but fits in well with the culture, I think. And they're going to be talking about all their different projects and kind of just chatting it up. At 1:45, it's Marvel Comics Avengers Armageddon, which is the new big event that's going on in the Avengers world right now in comics. They're going to have the VP and Executive Editor Nick Lowe, Editor-in-Chief C.B. Cebulski, and the writer of the Armageddon series, Chip Zdarsky. And everyone at the end will receive an exclusive copy of Avengers Armageddon 2 with a secret new cover by Chip. After that, at 3 p.m. is another spotlight panel, and this one is on special guest Matt Dinneman, which you've probably been under a rock if you haven't heard who that is.
Or you have not been paying attention.
Yeah, or you just haven't been paying any attention because he's the programming. It's just been everywhere. So he's the creator of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is the #1 New York Times bestseller. He's going to be chatting with Christopher Yost about the journey that led to him writing this whole series. At 4:15, it's thematic tunes from Star Wars to Pokemon. This is composers discussing their approaches to writing music for the iconic stories that have very dedicated fan bases, like Pokemon, Castlevania, Claudia Sarn, Ed Goldfarb, Trey Toy, and more will be there. At 5:30, here's another big one. It's the 40th anniversary of one of the best sequels ever made. This is for Aliens. James Cameron Aliens, his landmark sequel, is celebrating 40 years. It's going to have several cast members, and this seems to be the panel that folks were hoping for at WonderCon and didn't get, but now you are getting it. It's going to have Michael Biehn, Jeanette Goldstein, Mark Ralston, and Ross Rico. They're going to talk about some behind-the-scenes stories, and it's going to be moderated by Mark Atkinson, who's also an actor and filmmaker. At 6:45, Alter Egos and Origin Stories. Ben Ryler, who is a rapper who was inspired by Spider-Man lore, which is funny given his name. He's going to be with Gabe P. and Patrick Reed. And they're going to be just talking about storytelling, using storytelling through alter egos in the intersection of hip-hop and identity and all those things when they're working on world building. So after that at 8 p.m., the last thing in the room is the 29th annual Superhero Kung Fu Extravaganza. And a martial arts movie consultant, Rick Myers, who worked on Films of Fury, Frank Jang, and that fat samurai guy, Preston Downey, with the Movie Dojo podcast. They are going to be talking about a whole bunch of fight scenes. They're going to show some sneak peeks of things, some world premieres, and they promise to have some surprise guests. So that closes out the evening, 2.5 hours of that.
So this room has some very big things in it, in my opinion.
This room is scary.
Yeah. This room is very scary. So first of all, there's that WWE panel, which I think that's going to be incredibly popular.
I agree.
I think even before that, like that first panel of the day, Felicia Day.
Yeah, Felicia Day.
Both of those people have tons
Yep.
of fans. Yep. And then the spotlight on Matt Dinneman, God only knows
Oh my
with that. Like, I feel like Dungeon Crawler Carl is
Yeah.
literally everywhere right now.
You're absolutely correct. That is scary.
So, and I think Aliens is going to be very popular.
Aliens, I think, is going to be popular. I know the Marvel Comics, the Avengers stuff. I mean, people are going to go just to get that free comic.
So, look, if you want to go to any of the panels that we just said, I would probably plan to be there. What do you guys think? Like 2 hours early? Maybe even
I think
a little
that's
bit
safe.
earlier than that for Matt. For Matt, I might even show up 3 hours early, but
Yeah,
I like to ensure that I'm getting in.
Right. So
I'm
his
always
is at 3 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you just want to make sure that you're there for the first panel in the morning just in case?
I mean,
Basically.
you could, or I think you could also, like, when WWE ends, there's for sure going to be some people who leave. So I think, like, you could time it to that. Like, if all you care about is getting into the room. But yeah, this room is going to be very busy. You are not walking into this room.
Be in line during the WWE Mattel panel.
Yeah.
So that when it clears, you can be one of the people that's going in.
Yep, for Matt. Yep.
Or if you want the Matt Dinneman. Now,
Yep.
the thing is I think with the thematic tunes panel being in between Dinneman and Aliens, I
Mhm.
think that's going to help like clear the room and let it reset. So I don't think you need to be super early for Aliens, but I would definitely be there, and I would sit through the Star Wars to Pokemon tunes panel to be able to get to Aliens. So again, be there during Dinneman to be able to get in when the room clears.
Agreed. But yeah, this is an insane amount of great stuff in one room, and I love how eclectic it is. I think they did a fantastic job programming this room, even if it is a little scary, but they did good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Now we're moving on to 6BCF, which this one is about double the space of 6A. This one holds around 2,160. And we start the day off with the Gundam Showcase, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a whole bunch of folks talking about Gundam. But I'm going to be real honest with you. The real draw of this panel is the absolutely insane giveaway that they are doing. Every year they do an insane giveaway. But this year it includes a Gundam swag bag loaded with free goodies, including a mobile suit Gundam Hathaway, the Sorcery of Nymph mini poster, t-shirt, the card game Gundam Rogue Orbit promotional card, inflatable beam saber, a Gundam workshop kit, a Gunpla shopping bag, Gundam headband, and a Gundam introduction booklet. So
that's insane.
It's an insane amount of stuff. So that is the real draw of this panel, let's be honest.
Is that one of those things where they give you the ticket and you have to go get it, or are they going to hand that to you right when you...
It's probably going to be handed to you like if you're in the room at a certain point, I would assume.
Yeah,
most likely.
I think so as well.
But the thing is that not only is this a really good giveaway, but Gundam is also very popular.
Yes, it is, for sure.
You know, you have all the people who want to be there just because it's Gundam, and then you have a certain segment of people who want to be there, like, oh, I'm going to get a freebie.
Yeah, and as Iron Souls said in the chat, they're also announcing the new Gundam series, which is a huge deal. So yeah, I think this panel's going to be crazy packed. Good luck. All right, and then at 11:45, we have composer Barry McCreary, musical world building. He has done the music of so many shows that you love, everything from Outlander to Lord of the Rings of Power, Percy Jackson, The Olympians, Battlestar Galactica. The list just goes on and on. So it's just going to be him talking about his career as well as his new rock album. So with additional guests to be announced. And then at 1 p.m., it is the legendary Robert Kirkman in his biggest panel yet. He got a big upgrade. But as the week goes on, I think he gets an even bigger upgrade from I mean, again, it's just him talking Transformers and Hasbro's Intergon universe, and it should be a good time. At 2:15 is Lego Ninjago as they celebrate 15 years of counting, and it will have several of the voice cast, including Sam Vincent, Vincent Tong, Paul Dobson, Devin Mack, Sabrina Petrie, Kazumi Evans, and more. My favorite thing about this, though, is that it ends with a closing shout of Ninjago, go, will mark the occasion. I'm like,
you all, in order to leave the room, you all are going to have to shout, Ninjago!
I'm like, is that a threat? Like, sure, okay. And then at 3:30 p.m. is Batman Cape Crusader Season 2. They're doing an advanced screening and a Q&A with some of the executive producers. And then at 4:45 is Tubi Breaking Bear. So I want to talk about this. So this is an animated series, but it does not list who is in it. But the fact that this is in this room means that there have to be good people on it. You do not put, quite frankly, no offense, Tubi, a Tubi series in a 2,000 seat room unless there are some very good people on it. So I'm just going to read you some of who is on this cast.
Yes, tell us our possibilities.
Now, reminder.
These are
possibilities.
Possibilities.
Not confirmed in any way, shape, or form. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek, Chris Parnell from Saturday Night Live, Brendan Fraser, Matthew Lillard. I bet he's probably on it because we know he's at the con.
He's already there.
He's already there. That always helps. Josh Gad, Elizabeth Hurley, and the list goes on. So again, I don't know who's on this panel. It doesn't say, but you do not put a freaking Tubi panel in a 2,000 seat room unless there are some good people on it. Okay? So
look,
they must know something we don't know.
Just like 2 or 3 of those people listed would be a great panel.
One. You could get the first one in there.
Technically 1, yes.
Technically,
Yes.
you just need...
Yes.
Technically, you could probably just put Matthew Lillard in there, and for entertainment value alone, it would be
fine.
a panel.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then at 6 p.m. is Marvel Rivals Meet the Cast, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bunch of the voice talent from the hit game, including Eric Braw, Brittany Cox, Bill Millsap, Laura Post, Hakeem Isagiri, and Lenore Zan. And then a Q&A after that. And then at 7:15 p.m. is the panel none of us saw coming, but I actually love this. I think it's amazing. So it's Hollywood's love affair with fencing. And it is exactly what it sounds like. I think these people are just super into fencing, and we're like, we want to talk about it. So you've got USA fencing head Phil Andrews, but then you have Iron Maiden lead singer Bruce Dickinson. You have Asher Grodman from Ghosts. You have Star Wars lightsaber stunt coordinator. You have Rich Tang from Warrior and Tulsa King, and more. Literally just talking about their love of fencing. I think that's amazing. Let's do more panels like this.
The thing that you skipped over was that there's actually a movie coming out called Fencer that they're all gathering to talk about. That is from writer-director Rob Edwards, who wrote Captain America Brave New World and Princess and the Frog. Those are 2 of the widest, separate movies.
Very different.
But anyway.
It's also interesting because they until I read this description, I was like, fencing, is that really do we see a lot of that in the movies? And then they list all these examples. And I was like, oh yeah, they list Robin Hood, Zorro, Three Musketeers. But then you think about Star Wars. That's literal fencing as well. So it makes complete sense. Once I read it, I understood.
Well, real quick in the chat. So people are talking about our lovely Breaking Bear panel. Mike commented that Josh Gad will probably be there for Spaceballs, so it would definitely make sense if he appeared on that panel. So there's another one for you. Yeah. Okay, so what do we think the room flow of this room is going to be?
Well, I think now that we've hyped it up, now that we've told some folks, they might want to make that end if Tubi decides to release a statement saying here's who's going to be there. That could be a big one. Right
Yes,
there.
This room is nightmare fuel for trying to figure out if you just want to see a panel somewhere during the day.
Yeah.
Because it's going to start at the top with the Gundam.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Top capacity.
I will say, though, I think those people are going to get their bag of stuff and get on out of there for the
people were saying in the chat that last year they handed out the swag on your way out of the panel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is another panel in here as well that was like, if you stay for the entire panel, you will receive something. I was like, okay. That's nice. That's nice.
So if you want the swag, I mean, you kind of have to leave.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I think if you want Gundam, I would say if it was me, I would probably be in line no later than 7:30. That's 3 hours before. I think that's probably pretty fair. Like, this is a big room, but I think that is like a freaking amazing amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe 8. You might be fine by 8.
Yeah, it's 2,000 people, but this room, it is 2,000 people, but it's deceptively small because so many people want to do the things that are in here.
Yep.
So definitely 2 hours minimum for sure. For me personally, like me also being conservative, I would be there at least 2 hours early, personally.
Yeah. So again, I think after Gundam, I think it's going to clear out significantly. I don't think you'll have any trouble getting in for Bear McCreary. I don't even think you'll have any trouble getting in for Robert Kirkman. I mean, if this is the biggest panel room he's ever been in, I mean, I think you're probably fine. And then,
but he has been filling up the smaller panels, and he very
has,
popular.
But like by twice as many people.
Yeah, I think it's
probably not.
I think it depends too if he brings anyone with him.
Totally.
Any high caliber comic folks.
Well, I don't think you will have much problem getting into Robert Kirkman. But yeah, as always, if you are worried, like if this is like the thing you want to do, like if it's going to make or break your day, don't show up 5 minutes before.
Right.
Like show up like an hour before if you're worried, or keep an eye on social media for line updates, or swing by the room. Like there's so many things that you can do.
I would personally, if I was also wanting Kirkman, I would personally be there when, like, right before the Gundam panel lets out. That's probably when I would show up, just so I would sit through Bear McCreary and be there and ready to go, so I didn't miss it.
That sounds like a solid plan.
So I will say, I feel like if you're going for Robert Kirkman, odds are you're probably going to want to sit there and stay for Batman Caped Crusader. I feel like there's probably a decent amount of comic fans who also care about that. So I don't know that there's going to be like a ton of changeover between Kirkman and Batman Caped Crusader. Would you agree with that?
Probably, but yeah, and then of course the Breaking Bear is right after that, so then it's a toss up as to, you know, if we find out like during the day, well, who's going to be there. There may be people who just decide, look, I'm sticking it out.
Yeah. Or people who are going to stay for Marvel Rivals. That's another one that's awfully popular.
That's another popular one too. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I agree. I think that Tubi thing depends entirely on if they actually announce who's on that panel. But look, if you're listening to this now, you at least have like some decent guesses. So you are ahead of the curve. Marvel Rivals is incredibly popular. So I also think that's going to be pretty packed.
I feel it's honestly, like a 4 or 5 hour block there in the middle where you could really just chill out in that room.
Yeah,
for sure.
And the fencing panel, you're going to be able to make it into just by showing up. I think you're fine there. I don't think the room will fill. Any one of these, because they're packed right after the other. I mean, even with Ninjago, it's popular, but it's not like the thing where people are gonna like line up very early for it. The people who want to see this, I mean, you're going to be in trouble because you are in between a bunch of really popular stuff that is possibly and likely going to fill the room each time.
Yep.
And possibly not clear out.
Yeah,
so
great. So if it was me, again, if I wanted to go to any of these panels, like, one, I would plan for at least 3 hours early, and two, honestly, like, I would probably try to make it in for Robert Kirkman and just
And coast.
There's these are amazing panels. Like, you're gonna have fun no matter what.
There you go. I'd do it too.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Indigo.
Indigo Ballroom. 2,663 folks. And remember, the Indigo Ballroom is the one that's over in the Hilton Bayfront Hotel. So this one isn't at the convention center. They're going to start the day at 10 a.m. with the 12th annual musical Anatomy of a Superhero and Other Heroes. And this is going to be moderated by Oscar-winning composer Michael Giacchino, and Daniel Pemberton, Masters of the Universe, is going to be there. Award-winning composers Chris Bowers, Mick Giacchino, introductions by Ray Costa, Claudia Sarn, all these great composers. It's definitely projects that you've heard of, like Project Hail Mary, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Moving on at 11:15, Wandala, a musical journey with composer Joy Niao. A trip through the world of Wandala with the composer tracing the musical themes of the series and culminating with a focus in her Emmy-winning episode Heart. This is going to be moderated by Matt Ryan. At 12:30, it's Farewell to Seasons, Mike McCready's alternative history of grunge. You probably know at least some of the music from Mike McCready. He is in Pearl Jam. He was in Mad Season and Temple of the Dog, but he has spent many years working on a new graphic novel that Z2 is publishing called Farewell to Seasons. And he's going to be talking about that with his co-writer, Mark Sable, and artist Sebastian Piritz. Josh Berenstein from Z2, the president of Z2, is going to be there, as well as Z2's editor-in-chief, Lance Hosley. At 1:45, between the pages of Mark Maron's WTF. WTF is a podcast, is Mark's new book. This one's also by Z2, so you're getting kind of a double dose of Z2 here. The WTF podcast established a gold standard for podcasting, and in celebration of the history and the release of this, Mark's going to be joined by his longtime partner, Brendan McDonald, and the illustrator for his book, Box Brown, and Josh Berenstein from Z2 will be there. At 3 p.m., it's the Brandon Davis Show live. They're going to be recording a live episode of the Brandon Davis Show with the crowd in attendance. They're going to be discussing fandom, movies, television, and superheroes with surprise guest panelists. At 4:15, from pitch to pilot, Too Many Tunes. This is absolutely full of so many voice actors. They're going to be discussing breaking into the ever-changing animation ecosystem. Expert panelists like Dan Povenmire, who is the co-creator of Phineas and Ferb, Crystal Hairston, voice actor and showrunner of Fairly Odd Parents. They're going to be doing a one-of-a-kind character voice-led Q&A in which the guest voices reading audience questions, including voice actors Scott Grimes, Isaac Robinson Smith, Caitlin Rob Rock, Eric Bazua, Brock Powell, and more. They're also going to be having a live table read of a soon-to-be produced pilot. I don't know how they're going to get it done in an hour.
Right? That sounds like
or
a
45
lot
minutes. It's like a lot. Yeah, it's like we're going to have a discussion, and then we're going to have a Q&A, and then we're going to have this table reading.
Yeah,
that's a stacked
amazing
panel.
It
I
is.
mean,
It's
the voice
so
of Bugs
many
Bunny and
voice
Daffy.
actors. Yeah, these are definitely like people whose voices you know. I didn't read everybody's name because I'm not good at this at all. But there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. Yes.
Wow.
From American Dad, X-Men '97, like you said, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck. But that's it for that room. What do you guys think? I think there's some really fun things in there. but I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
I do
anything
too.
that is going to make you
I
have to dedicate hours.
I know. I mean, to me, the wild cards are definitely the Z2 panels. Like, are there enough like Pearl Jam and Mark Maron fans to like
Yeah.
completely pack that room?
Right.
I don't know. I sort of feel like no. I mean, I think it's going to be like crowded. I just don't
Mhm.
know if it's going to be like you can't get into the room. What
Right.
do you think, James?
I don't think so either. I mean, the only thing that I can see, like you said, are the Z2 guys, McCready and Marin, are they a big enough draw at the Comic-Con crowd to pull away from all the other nerd stuff that people want to do?
Right.
And like I said, I personally feel like these are going to be very well attended, but I also think if you want to go, like showing up 30 minutes beforehand, you'll probably still get in.
And since it's in Indigo, of course, you're going to have a bit more walking time and all of that. So always make sure if you're coming from the convention center to give yourself time to get across the street and do the whole walk and everything. So if you want to be there half an hour early, leave from wherever you are 45 minutes early.
It's deceptively long.
Yeah.
Especially if they, depending on how they route you, and if you have to wait for the crossing for the Hall H stuff.
Yeah. And actually, I have a question for the chat. It's been 2 or 3 years since I've done Indigo. Are they still doing the weird thing outside that they started doing a couple years ago where like they make you wait outside and then they like take like 10 of you inside at once and then like they'll come back and take like 10 more of you? If they're doing that still, like that made getting in take a ridiculously long time. So hopefully they're not still doing that. Yeah.
Jay Peterman says they check bags going into Indigo as well. So that also will delay you.
Little bottleneck there. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely give yourself extra time going to Indigo, more than you would for any other place you're going to, like for the convention center.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, I don't see anything in here causing a problem. Be there a little bit early to do all that thing, but otherwise, just keep an eye on social media, on the tags, and just if anyone's saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe the line is 500 people long to get into Indigo right now," that may be a clue to get over there to get in line.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat is also telling me that they are still doing the stupid thing where they take like 10 of you at a time. So forget what I said. Get there like minimum an hour early, maybe even more, maybe even more than that, because it takes like so freaking long to get inside when they do that. It's horrible. Yeah. Okay, now it's time for my room. Not that I think I'm gonna be there this year. Thanks, guys. Is Borrow 20, which again holds about double the amount of people of the last room. This one holds around 4,800. We kick off the day at 10 a.m. with the 10th anniversary panel of Crunchyroll's My Hero Academia, with panelists that include Christopher Sabat, Justin Briner, Clifford Chapin, David Matronga, and more. And yeah, that should be fun. And then at 11:15 is the panel none of us saw coming, in Hippen. So they are talking about their Vampire Dark Moon franchise as it extends into webtoons and anime productions of vampire romance and more, because it is the year of the vampire. And they will be joined by Twilight director Catherine Hardwicke, and as announced by a Korean newspaper this morning and now made official on their own social channels about 15 minutes ago, the surprise vampire guests are also from Twilight. It is Peter Facinelli and Ashley Green. So yeah, if you are into K-pop or Twilight, this is the panel for you. At 12:30 is Collider's Producers on Producing. Steve Weintraub is doing so many of these like combination panels. And he just has a bunch of these. And I think it's really cool. Like, it's a way to get franchises represented at the convention without the studio having to pay for a huge Hall H presence. So I say kudos to Collider for these. But anyway, this one is all about producers. It's got Simon Kinberg, who has produced everything from The Martian to Logan to Deadpool, as well as Andrew Form and Brad Fuller from the Quiet Place franchise. So they will be talking about behind the scenes stories and major franchises. A lot of times in these, like, they will show you like something upcoming, or maybe there's a giveaway. So you never know with these, but I think this could be really cool. At 2 p.m. is Sung Kang's Drifter. So he was Han in the Fast and the Furious franchise, and now he has his own car movie that he has made. So he's the director, he's the writer, director, and star of the film, and he is there to talk about it along with actors Tamara Braun, Gregory Cruz, Michaela Burnett, Michael Nearing, James Pumphrey, Grant Sullivan, and more. And then at 3:15 is the Indian film Ramayana, which I know a lot of people on social media are incredibly excited about this. And I think this is cool. Everyone loved Project K when it came a couple years ago. So I think it's really cool that like we're championing another Indian film here. But this one it's like fantasy, and it's about in an age of gods and kings, the fate of worlds hangs in the balance. And it's got international superstars Ranbir Kapoor, Yash, Nitish Tiwari, and more. There will be special giveaways, and they'll be showing you a look at the film. And then at 4:30 p.m. is Neon's upcoming sci-fi action film Hope from South Korean filmmaker Na Hong-jin. And it's got Huyun from Squid Game as well as Na Hong-jin. And yeah, they'll just be showing you a look at the film before it comes out. And if you love Neon stuff, which they usually make some great stuff, this should be fun. And then at 5:30 is A24 with Onslaught. This one is an action thriller coming up, and they've got some amazing people on this panel. They've got Adam Wingard, Adria Arjona, Drew Starkey, Rebecca Hall, and Dan Stevens, moderated by Kevin Smith. I just think that's really cool. And I appreciate that A24 has brought like some of these smaller panels the last couple of years.
Smaller in Ballroom 20. For film, I guess. Films, I guess, being in
film, for film, yeah. I mean, it is. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean. Don't act like you don't.
What a wild room, though. I mean,
it's all over the place.
Starting out with My Hero Academia.
Very popular. This will be very, very crowded.
I feel like, is there anything in this that won't be?
That won't be popular? I mean, no. I don't think producers on producing is like going to draw a huge crowd. I don't think Sung Kang is going to draw a huge crowd. I hate saying this, but I don't know that the Indian film is going to draw like a massive amount of crowd. But I do think the biggest question in this room is in Hippen. How
is it in Hippen or in Hypen? Because it looks like in Hypen to me.
I feel like Beth should know this, or would be able to help us suss this out.
She cares about nothing except BTS. So.
Okay. Has she heard that? Has she heard somebody say this name out loud?
I don't think so.
Look, the only video that I have seen with this is that guy from Vampire Diaries who like was on a TikTok live, and somebody like asked him about this band, and he was like, in Hippen, I don't fuck with in Hippen. Like that is literally the only basis of knowledge that I have for this band. So I don't know.
For the folks who don't know, so it's a band.
It is in Hypen.
It's a K-pop. Okay, a K-pop group, and they have sort of this a whole franchise, this Dark Moon franchise that is a webtoon and an anime vampire romance. They have this entire lore that's been created. It's this whole world, and every character is based on somebody in the actual band, and they're bringing the band with them, which is because the band's already playing in San Diego just a few days before this panel. Is that correct? I think it's just a few days before.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
But yeah, I mean, do you guys remember when they brought a K-pop band to fandom, and that brought
for
out
sure. So
Very popular.
It did, but so here's really the question. So the thing with fandom is like anyone could enter and attend. So like you did not have to have a Comic-Con badge. So the real question here is, are there enough people who attend Comic-Con who are insane and hyping fans? And I don't know the answer to that. So I am very curious to see.
Considering we bought tickets to Comic-Con 9 months ago and they would not have known about this.
Yeah, and I see lots of people in the chat saying like never underestimate K-pop fans. They're huge. I am in no way, shape, or form like saying that I don't think they are huge. I think they're massive. Like I said, to me the question
they
is
are a
just,
force.
Like,
do they have tickets? Do they have tickets to Comic-Con?
Yes. That is literally the question.
Think about they're attracting the Twilight fans too, which is a whole other group of fans. That they're there's going to be people who don't know the band and they're just going to go for the Twilight folks.
Yeah. So is anything in this room going to require you to be extra early? Because again, just like we mentioned for Indigo about the excess things you have to do, for Ballroom 20, you also have to remember that they only let people in chunks because it's at a walkway where they keep people going back and forth, and then they open it up occasionally to let people in if there's a line. So I guess the question is any of this going to be something where you need to be there more than an hour early?
I mean,
only the beginning.
The beginning for sure. If you want into My Hero Academia or in Hypen, I would be showing up fairly early. I would probably be there by like 7 a.m. personally.
Okay.
That may be way overestimating, but because we have never had a panel like of this sort at Comic-Con, like I just don't think anyone's going to be able to give you an amazing answer. Like we don't have anything to compare it to. So if it is important to you to be in this room, like overestimate.
Yes.
Yeah. And now there's nothing really through after the first couple panels that really feels like it's going to pack the room. But do we think that the last two or the last one movies may fill it up? I think the last one has a chance.
I think the last one has a chance. I think I think each of those people has many fans. So I could definitely like see the combination of all of those people getting the room fairly full. But also like 5:30 is semi-late.
Yeah, like you said, it's dinner time. So
yeah. So I don't know if I wanted an onslaught again, like I would always rather overestimate. Like I would show up probably like an hour early, maybe 75.
Here's the fun thing. If I'm going to get here, like if I feel like I need to get here 30 to 45 minutes early, I'll just adjust that and be there before the panel that's before it. And I will sit through the panel in the hopes that I get to watch an entertaining panel. Just because sit-through panels have always, there's a 50-50 chance you're going to have a sit-through panel that's just an amazing panel. So you might as well get there at the beginning of it and watch the panel beforehand if you want to sit through half of it anyway. Unless you're doing other things, obviously. If you're like coming out of another panel 45 minutes before this one starts, then you just head right there, fine. But if you have like, I might as well get there early. Get there early to see the whole panel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sitting through a panel that like you maybe did not know anything about beforehand, like guys, I don't know about you, but like I have sat through so many amazing panels.
Yes.
You just never know like what you're going to find. Like maybe it's going to become your next favorite movie or TV show or whatever. Maybe there's a cool giveaway. Like sitting through a panel, if it's really boring, you could sit there on your phone. Like do it.
or do a carry during a CBS panel and take a nap.
Look, only during CBS. And CBS is good now. CBS like finally learned. It took them like 10 years, but they finally found their niche at Comic-Con. I do sort of miss my nap panel though.
Look, all the way back in, was it 2004? I was in sit-through panels leading up to the Firefly Serenity panel. And one of them was okay. It was the Bride of Chucky or something like that. But one of the other ones was Shaun of the Dead. And so that's the kind of sit-through panel that, because I didn't have, that movie was not on my radar at the time. And being able to sit through that panel, I'm like, I went and saw that in the theater because of that panel. So absolutely, sit-through panels can give you something really awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to Hall H. But before we do, James, do you want to kind of walk through? So Hall H works differently than any of the other panel rooms.
Any others. So Hall H has its own dedicated line outside. They also have a wristband system that they will probably post the details about next week after all the schedule is out and we know. So the whole way it works is the night before they start handing out wristbands. And those wristbands are lettered A through D, and that is not anything more than kind of like a check for where you are in line. But those wristbands guarantee you entry in as long as you're back in line before 7 a.m. the next morning. So you have the option of staying in line, going back to your room, and just coming back at the morning at the end of the day, the morning and being at the end of the line, or leaving at least one person for every, what is it, 2 people now?
2 people, yeah.
Yeah, so one person can hold for 2 other people. So if you leave one person for every 2 people, you all can come back where you were in that line at the time. So that's how you get into the room. In the morning, they'll let you all in, and then you can sit through it. It's its own thing. It's got its own line. It's got its own management. It's got its own exit. Everything's like it's its own ecosystem. And it's the biggest room at 6,500 capacity, so it's where all the huge stuff goes. That's the basics. There's lore about Hall H. There's stories. There's drama. There's everything.
There's everything. There's strategy. There's line camping groups. There's so much. So Hall H is truly its own monster. It's its own ecosystem. So if you are interested in doing Hall H, if you want to be up front, again, I want to stress, not just in the room, but up front, the very best thing that you can do is go look online and find the people who do Hall H all the time and learn from them. Do that. That's my suggestion. But now, if you don't care about being up front, if you just want to be in the room where it happens, that is what we are here to talk about.
Yes. So basically, to guarantee being in the room, again, just like any other room, it depends on how popular the stuff is. Hall H has not been 100% full with a long line outside 100% of the time. Many times there's been walk-ins. You can just walk in for a panel. So be prepared for that to happen.
I even want to say, I don't know that it's going to be the case this year, but Marvel 2 years ago, I have friends who lined up at 11 a.m. and made it in for Marvel. So as much as we make Hall H sound scary, almost every day, it's not that level of scary. It requires a little bit more planning and a little bit more of a time investment, but it is absolutely not you have to line up at Wednesday at 4 a.m. kind of scary. So it's okay.
That's only for Marvel. No.
Yes. All right. Carry on.
Okay. All right. So let's go through the schedule and then we'll talk about it. So first up at 10 a.m. is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, A New Quest Awaits. And it's going to have a bunch of people from the show: Walker Scoble, Aryan Simhadri, Charlie Bushnell, Tamara Smart, Levi Chrysopoulos, Olive Abercrombie, as well as executive producers and the moderator Juju Green. And of course, I'm going to talk about all things Percy Jackson. At 11:15, we have Marvel's Wolverine Deep Cuts. And this is from Insomniac Games. And it's going to have a bunch of people that are making the game, including voice actors Liam McIntyre, Crizia Bajos, and Eric Monticelli, to share details all about the new game. And you're going to see some behind-the-scenes looks and new content. Then at noon, we have Marvel Token, Fighting Souls Behind the Battle, and it exactly what it sounds like. It is a fighting game. So this is going to have fighting game commentator and streamer Sajum as the moderator, with Takashi Yamanaka, Michael Francisco, Mike Deodato, a very famous artist in comics, and Josh Keaton, all talking about this. And then everything went away.
Oh,
Am I back?
I can hear you. We can't see you.
Yeah, did it again.
No, you did it again.
What is going on?
A disembodied voice again.
Yep, you guys get a disembodied voice. Sorry. Where did I leave off?
You're on Avatar.
I'm on Avatar. Okay.
Yeah.
Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender at 1 p.m. The Four Nations arrives in Hall H. Voice casting creative. We'll be discussing the making of the Paramount Plus film, sneak peeks, and insights into Aang's journey. And then we have at 2:15, Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, with creators Chuck Lorre, Zach Penn, and Bill Prady, as well as stars Kevin Sussman, Lauren Lapkus, John Ross Bowie, and Brian Posehn. And then at 3:30, we have Collider's Directors on Directing with Zach Krieger and Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, again hosted by Stephen Weintraub. And then we have Inside the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art at 4:45. This features a head of film programs at the museum, Ryan Linkoff, Seth Green and Matthew Seinreich from Stupid Buddy Studios, and DC president, publisher, and CCO Jim Lee, talking all about things coming up at the Lucas Museum. And then finally at 6 p.m., we have Brad Bird, My Cinematic Journey. And this is another Stephen Weintraub hosted panel featuring just Brad Bird talking about his career and all the wonderful movies he's made, like The Iron Giant, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and his upcoming Netflix feature, Ray Gun. All right. So what do we got here? This is a lot of cool stuff, but also, is it anything that's going to fill up the hall?
Yeah, I personally don't think so. I think again, it's going to be busy, but I think you could line up again like 60 to 90 minutes before and be fine. And really, a lot of times, like the only reason you even need to line up that early is because like they don't usually just continuously let you into the room. Like you have to be in at the right time, like when they're loading the room. I just don't think any of this is going to be like hard to get into. Would you agree with that?
I have a question about Percy Jackson. Were they there last year as well?
Mm-hmm.
And were they in Hall H?
I'm fairly certain. Let me look.
I'm just wondering how it was then. If anyone
it feels
in the
like
chat...
that one is going to be the one where if it's going to be really difficult to get in, it's going to be that first panel, because you're going to load up with people who are wanting to get to the other panels and just be the Hall H all day kind of people.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I'm seeing some people say like Avatar. Avatar is very popular, but Avatar has almost every other year been in Ballroom 20. And even though Avatar is popular in Ballroom 20, it is not like packed to the gills popular. So I think it's going to be very similar in Hall H. I think there will be tons of fans in there, but are there 6,000 plus fans who fill that hall? I just don't know.
Is that the movie that also leaked online?
It is, but this one is not the screening. This one at least has like voice cast and creative team. The screening itself is going to be over in 20. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I expect these to all be very popular and very crowded, but again, I don't know if anything except for the very first one, because of the stacking, throughout the day. And then as it goes, it's going to decrease, as people leave for the things that they wanted to see.
And that Granger in the chat just said Percy last year was a walk-in. So I think most of these are going to be a walk-in. I really do. So again, we are talking making it into the room. If you want to be very close, that is a whole other ballgame. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So any of these, just like Indigo, give yourself time to get through the line, because it will take you some time to get, depending on where they make you go to get into line, it may take a while. So give yourself that amount of time. I would say easily 15 to 20 minutes of just walking through the line, unless they finally see that there's no one there and they open it up at the front, in which case there is less time to walk through all the chutes, but we'll see how it goes.
Yep. Somebody just asked, is this the first time we've had a video game in Hall H? And I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. They definitely had some in the past.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, what's its name was there? Pokemon Go was there.
Oh, yeah. And I think there's been others even beyond that.
There's been other,
yeah, I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know there has been. Okay, so before we do our dark horses, let's just talk general thoughts on the Thursday programming schedule. I think this is pretty good. I mean, there's no major, there's not a Warner Brothers or a Sony or something on this schedule, but I think this is a really good, eclectic group of things. I think if you still love movies, there are tons of movies represented.
Yep.
I love that Neon and A24 are over here bringing movies to the good room, Farm 20. I just think there's so much fun stuff on this schedule.
Yes, there is a lot of fun stuff. Enough that, as people were talking about in the chat, they definitely programmed it to make you make some hard choices as to what you wanted to attend.
Yep. And that's what they try to do, guys. They don't want everybody going to the exact same thing. They don't want 20,000 people showing up to the same panel. So they program this for this reason.
These are experts. They're not throwing darts at a dartboard. They're not.
Nope.
They're not making it up as they go. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
I think I feel a little bad for Steven from Collider. Just, it's all of his panels are one
all
day.
Over.
Yeah.
And all over.
And they're everywhere. Yeah. It's going to be busy. Busy that day.
He's going to be running around. Yeah, for sure.
I do like I said, this panel, the whole day of panels is, I would have tough choices to make going through trying to figure out where to go for panels on this particular day. So that means it's a good schedule.
Yeah.
And if we haven't said anything that wet your whistle, there's how many other rooms? We only touched on the biggest rooms. There's hundreds more panels going on. Screenings.
Absolutely.
Films being shown.
So on that note, let's talk a little bit about some of those smaller panels. So every year on this podcast, we pick what we call our dark horse picks, which are just panels in some smaller rooms, so that you may have overlooked. So James, why don't you kick us off?
Okay, I've got a couple this time, and the first one is Kotobukaya's versatile hand model, an open discussion with artists and creatives. It is in room 10 at 2:30. And this is for those of you who are artists and and animators and such may know what this hand model is, but it's basically just this really well-made full-size hand that you can pose to do whatever you want, so you can draw a hand correctly. But the fun thing about this is that the people that are on the panel to talk about this are Sir Richard Taylor, the founder of Weta, and Takahiro Kagami, the lead animator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, and the Kotobukaya's master sculptor Hajime Shirahagi. So they've got these three big names to come in here and talk about this little hand model and how awesome it is. I'm guessing they're going to talk about how both for digital and sculpting and animation and drawing, about how this is something that is very useful for artists. And I think that's really cool.
Yep.
And then second, I have the Nighthawk 1828, the first superhero. Yes. Thursday at 4:30 in 26 AB. This features Matthew Warner Osborne from Kansas City, who discovered the Nighthawk in the Mechanics Free Press from 1828, predating Man of Steel by more than a century. It fits the mission, powers, identity definition of the superhero devised by Peter Coogan. And in a conversation with Coogan and historian Dr. Andrew Fogel, They talk about how he discovered this, the names behind this America's first superhero, and his forthcoming book, all about this 19th century superhero that paved the way for superheroes a century later. I think that's really cool also.
That
Real
sounds
quick.
like it could be fiction.
Right?
You know, that sounds like a the Netflix movie. Someone discovers this and it predates Superman. That's pretty great. I'm sorry, what you were going to say? Someone in the chat?
Yeah, someone in the chat said, I hope that James hasn't been replaced by an AI voice only. No, he is just having technical difficulties, and so he is now the disembodied voice of God.
We're glad we at least still have his voice.
Right. And last time,
Yeah.
at least there was the frozen picture of me looking like the thinking man that everyone
Yeah.
was like, well, at least we get to see him. But now it's like nothing. I'm just a white circle.
You are a white
Yeah,
circle.
it's very Hal of you.
I wish it would just pulse. Is it pulsing? Yes, it's pulsing when I
Oh,
talk.
it is.
It is.
Oh.
So now we just watch it pulse all the time while I'm talking, and that's
Ooh.
now I am the disembodied voice.
That is funny. All right, to get us back on track now that I
Yes.
got us off track. So I'm gonna do my dark horse picks. At 11:30 in room 29 CD is another of the behind the scenes music panels with a lot of composers, but I feel like this one has composers from some really interesting things, including Alien Earth, Wednesday, and even The Pit. So I just wanted to point that one out if you were interested in the music of TV. And then over in 5AB at 11 a.m. is Star Trek The Collector Frontier. And basically, if you are interested in like anything that is happening in Star Trek collecting, like this is basically a panel with the licensing teams. They're going to be able to tell you what's going on, and they even have prize giveaways. Okay.
That's
Aaron.
the magic words. Prize giveaways.
Yep.
I only have one dark horse pick, and it is in room 9 at 2 p.m. And it's going to have a couple of artists that I like. It's Myths, Monsters, and Dumpster Fires, coloring outside the lines with Camilla D'Erico and Truck Torrance. Truck Torrance, of course, is the creator of the Smiling Dumpster Fire. He's the designer behind 100% Soft, who makes the Dumpster Fire vinyl figures. And Camilla D'Erico is a fine artist who does a lot of painting. She comes to Comic-Con every year. I'm sure if you saw her stuff, you would recognize it. But they both have pop culture kind of modern adult coloring books, and they're going to be discussing their coloring books, but they're doing it in the form of a coloring workshop. So you get to go to this. They're going to have pages from the coloring books, and they're going to have art supplies sponsored by Holbein, and Tim Hopper, who is the executive vice president from Holbein, is going to be moderating, and they're going to be doing a little bit of Q&A. So it's just two friends chatting, two artist friends chatting while they color their coloring books.
And they're going to hand them out, so you get to color too.
Yeah. It sounds relaxing.
How many panels do you get to do arts and crafts in? Like
Not
for real?
enough.
Believe it
Not
or not, there was a few where I would almost put them on here. Like there's one with like 4 or 5 comic artists, like Will Spartasio, like teaching you how to draw, and just like bring your own supplies.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
And
fun.
I think one year Xander Cannon did. He's an artist and a comic writer, and I think he did like a make your own little folding comic book too. So arts and crafts for the win, always.
We love it. We
Yes.
love it.
Wait, here we go. Let me do it. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
There
No,
you go.
no, we won't let you do that to us.
Fulfilling the request
Lord.
of the J.
Yes,
Peterman.
of the chat.
Mhm. Yep,
Yes.
by special request.
All right.
Friday.
Let's move on to Friday.
Okay, same thing. Rolling it all back. 7AB, 480 capacity. And this is the room and the day where it is all Star Wars all the time. At 10 a.m., we have Lucasfilm Publishing, Stories from a Galaxy Far, Far Away. This features authors, including Ahmed Best and Kristen Baver, talking about all things in Lucasfilm Publishing. At 11 a.m., we have Lucasfilm High-End Star Wars Collectibles. This is Lucasfilm's Brian Merten sharing new items and such for behind-the-scenes things about all of the big, awesome high-end collectibles they make. At noon, we have a Galaxy of Star Wars comics from Mad Cave Studios and Lucasfilm Publishing. This features Charles Beecham, Josh Pruitt, Scott Peterson, Delilah S. Dawson, Sue Lee, and moderated by Michael Siglin, talking about comics and publishing from all the Star Wars books. At 1 p.m., more Star Wars books, and this time it's from Random House Worlds. This is Tom Holler, Gabriela Munoz, Madeline Rue, and Ashley Poston talking about Star Wars books coming from Random House. And then we have Hasbro's Star Wars panel talking about Star Wars products coming from Hasbro, like the Black Series and the Vintage Collection and Retro. Star Wars Memories is at 3 p.m. The early days of Star Wars, SDCC, and fandom. And this is Craig Miller, Lucasfilm's original director of fan relations, with a slideshow talking about all things Comic-Con way back in the 70s and 80s. And then we got Making of Star Wars The Experience at 4 p.m. with Ashley Eckstein and as the moderator. And also on it will be Matt Martin and Portia Fontes talking about the official immersive experience celebrating 50 years of Star Wars that is coming to the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. At 5 p.m., we have Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, What's New on Batuu. This is Christine Smith and Martin Smith from the Heroes of the Halcyon podcast, and Peter Soretta from Ordinary Adventures, talking about all the new stuff that is happening at Galaxy's Edge. At 6 p.m., we have Star Wars Tourism visiting the galaxy far, far away on Earth. This is James Floyd and Charlotte Teeters-Stewart, Melissa Miller, and Jake Rowlett talking about visiting Star Wars filming locations all across the globe. Shout out to James Floyd. That guy is awesome. I have known him for, I think, over 20 years now. He's a cool guy. And then at 7, we have the 501st Legion Star Wars Villainous Costuming with Legion members Jamie Tobit, Lynn Sepak, Dean Emstutz, Kevin Weir, Sarah Wetmore, Mylan Nguyen, David Neth, and Todd Mullen. And as expected, they are talking about making costumes for Star Wars featuring the villains. It's still going, folks. At 8 p.m. by Creed Not Blood, the Mando Mercs Costume Club talking about all things Mandalorians. And then finally at 9 p.m., we have Star Wars Trivia Party with hosts Richard Woloski and Sarah Woloski from the Skywalking Through Neverland podcast, doing a bunch of spirited rounds of Star Wars trivia, and it's a bunch of competitions, and there will be prizes. So yes, it is a day full of Star Wars.
So they do this every year, and every year it's in the same room, and every year it's too small. Because the thing is, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're probably not leaving that room anytime soon. So, like, once you're in there, you're probably going to stay for most of that day. Yeah. So that's the real problem here.
And certain ones are going to be more heavily attended than others, but at 480 capacity, that might not really matter because, like you said, there may be, I'm going to guess there's at least 300 or 400 people who just want to absorb all things Star Wars all day long.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
and there's some amazing things in here. So, I mean, the real chokehold here is going to be that Making of Star Wars The Experience panel, in my opinion. I mean, you've got Ashley Eckstein on it. Like, I think that's all you had to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first one with Ahmed Best, Jar Jar's on the panel.
Yeah.
Yes, but I would say not as universally loved. But yes, he is. But I still think the real problem is going to be that Ashley Eckstein panel for sure.
So if you're interested in one of these panels specifically, wish, hope, pray, be there super early.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you went in for that panel, like, I think you're probably just going to have to realize, like, you will be in that room all day.
Yeah. It's kind of a bummer if you don't want to see anything else except Star Wars tourism, but It's also, if you want to see Star Wars tourism, you probably like Star Wars. You're going to
Yeah.
be fine sitting through the rest of the panels.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Has Star Wars, they used to do a Star Wars Day. Was that Friday when they used to do it?
I think it always was Friday.
Was Friday?
Because
I think so,
Sunday
too.
was Kids Day
Yeah, that makes sense then.
or Family Day, whatever they want to
Family
call
Day.
it. But yeah, I think it was always Friday.
Continuing the tradition. All right. Well, shall we move on to room 6D and E?
Yup.
It holds
Yes.
884 people. It's starting the morning at 10 a.m., bright and early. Collector's Call with Lisa Welchel and Me TV. If that name sounds familiar, that's because she was Blair on The Facts of Life. She now has a TV series called Collector's Call, where they talk about the wide world of collecting, which I think many of us here can relate to. It's now in its 7th season. They're gonna. Oh, James, you're back.
It worked.
I'm sorry.
What did you do?
Sorry to interrupt. But
Keep
welcome back.
going.
Okay.
We'll celebrate later.
They'll be they're going to have a professional archivist, Rob Klein, screen use costume historian Lisa Klein, toy collecting authority and comedian Matt Weinhold, and the Weigel Broadcasting Vice Chairman Neil Sabin. It's also moderated by the person who hosted one of my very favorite reality shows of all time, the Joe Schmo Show, and that is Ralph Garman. He's a great moderator, or he's a great comedian. And he gets to moderate, and then there is a giveaway at the end of this one. It is a lenticular collectible. After this, at 11:15, it's DC's Gotham City. Top DC creators step into the shadows of Gotham City. They're promising a major reveal, but they're not listing any of the guests yet. After that, they're going to keep on with the DC stuff. It's DC's Next Level at 12:30. Storytellers bringing DC's Next Level publishing initiative to life. If you don't know about that publishing initiative, it's bringing back some of the people that they hadn't used for a little bit. They brought back Firestorm and some of the Teen Titans, and fresh looks, new details, exciting teases from that universe.
And real quick, I just want to say, Erin absolutely knows her comics because she runs a comic shop. If you guys,
I
didn't know.
do. I own a small, tiny little comic book store here in Marion, Iowa. So, and the DC Next Level stuff is doing very well for us. At 1:45, it's Enter the Veil, the world premiere of a new fantasy universe. It's a hybrid live action and animated short film with 3-time Tony winner Leah Salonga, Robert Palmer Watkins from The Walking Dead, and Egan Zander. It sounds like they're going to be having a screening, and then afterwards they're going to be joined by the novelist, the writer, and the director, Abigail Hing Wen, and animation director. And they're going to also talk to composers and premium giveaways. It also says if you're into that. At 3:00, No Capes Required, Women Powering Up Pop Culture. Moderating it, Janet Shea leads a lively panel with women who are making their mark across comics, gaming, sports, television, and film. AJ Mendez, or AJ Lee, WWE pro wrestler. Anjali Binmani from Ms. Marvel. Caroline Ravassa from Overwatch. Helen Shang. Celine Thomas, the CEO. She runs Frank Miller's publishing company. They're going to be just doing some candid stories and talking about pop culture inclusive moments. At 4:15, it's Fire, Earth, Water, Air, continuing the Avatar legacy. This is going to have Dark Horse Comics and Abrams Books, plus Webtoons, Magpie Games, and a lot of the companies who have licensed products for Avatar. A lot of books. They're going to be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, plus The Legend of Korra. And then at 5:30, it's Divine Design for Demigods, creating the costumes for Disney's Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2. Costume designer Catherine Adair shares behind the scenes details on creating the costumes. And her costume team is also going to be there with her. David Matvikow, Daniel Mahler-Landman, Tanis Hagen, and moderated by Arian Simhadri, who is in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. At 6:45, it's Mega 64 panel in large format 70mm ticket upcharge. This is the cast and crew of Mega 64. They are a very long-running internet video collective. They're going to show some new videos. They're going to show some unseen videos. They're going to have a Q&A. And it also says they're maybe even going to show something that they weren't supposed to, which is very mysterious.
We love that.
Yes. Bring it on. Getting late at night here. It's 8 p.m. Bat in the Sun, Legend of the White Dragon, and Superpower Beatdown. An exclusive look at Legend of the White Dragon before its August 28th theatrical release. They'll also have a live Q&A and a discussion of creating YouTube content about building a global franchise. And then ending the day in room 6D&E is a special sneak preview of Dark Matter Season 2. This is going to be at 10 p.m., so you maybe go take a nap and then come back to this. Apple TV and Den of Geek are presenting an exclusive fan screening of the first episode of Season 2. Participating guests include Joel Edgerton, who is a cast member, Dio Okini, and Blake Crouch, who is the author of the novel, Jacqueline Benzerke, who is a writer and executive producer, and Matt Tolmach, also an executive producer. And that's it for the day. It's a very, very late day. It goes all the way to 11 p.m.
I would like to break in with news that
Yes.
the DC panels do have talent listed now.
Yay!
The
Both
DC's
of 'em.
Gotham City panel has G. Willow Wilson, Matt Fraction, Tom Taylor, Tate Bromball, Christopher Cantwell, Scott Snyder, and moderated by Rob Levine.
Wow.
And DC's
Scott
next
Snyder.
level.
Oh,
DC's
I mean,
next
that
level
just changed things. Okay.
has Joshua Williamson, Hayden Sherman, Kyle Higgins, Michael Walsh, is it Jerry Dugan, and moderated by Brittany Holzer and Andrew Marino.
Wow. Good job, DC. Good lineup.
There you go.
Fun. How fun for those comic folk. Okay.
Those panels just got more popular.
Yeah.
Not that they weren't already.
So,
Yep. Yeah, those DC panels are absolutely the draw.
yeah,
of the day
I
in
think
here.
you're going to, I hate
Without
to
a
say it, but folks might want to go sit through Blair from Facts of Life. Although that's a really interesting television show. I mean, I think we all have the collecting bug. Many of us do. I think
Absolutely.
we can all relate to it.
I think that panel could be fun. And
Yeah,
like you
I
said,
have
like
never
Rob
watched
Garman
the
is
show.
really funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but yes, those DC panels are absolutely going to be a problem because that is some huge names on that. So if you want to make it in for the DC panels, what time would you get there, James?
I would be there early. I would be there minimum an hour before the first panel and probably 2 hours.
Yeah. So we're talking like 8 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's safe.
The good news is after the DC panel, I think it's going to clear out a decent amount.
I think so, because they're very different things that day. I mean,
they're very different things.
Very
and
different.
even though like some of this stuff is fun, and I mean, Lea Salonga is definitely a very fun name in the Disney crowd, but I just don't think it's going to like completely pack the room. And with Dark Matter being as late as it is as well at freaking 10 p.m., like it's not going to be packed.
That's like the olden days of Comic-Con when they'd have stuff that late. Did they have stuff running till 11 o'clock last year?
I think so. I think so. They've done like a screening or something that runs late.
Is it usually screenings?
Usually.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it is. I don't know, man. That feels like so late to me. What that panel feels like to me is Apple at the very last minute was like, we want to do this. And poor Comic-Con was like, the only slot we have is 10 p.m.
And poor Joel Edgerton has to like work all day and then come chat with us.
Yeah.
Hey, look, he's got the title executive producer in
does.
addition to cast member.
Yep.
So you know what? You went into the job knowing that you were going to have to work late.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, then let's move on to 6A. So this room seats around 1,040. We start the day off at 10:30 a.m. with Kyle Higgins as he shares a look at the Massiveverse alongside Brian Bucatello, Melissa Flores, and Ryan Parrott. And then at 11:45 is Nerd Stuff and Sword Things, Storytelling in the Masters of the Universe film world. And this has a bunch of folks just across different Motu properties. So they've got Chris Butler, who was the screenwriter of the truly excellent new Masters of the Universe film. If you have not seen it, you should. It's really fun. Tim Sheridan, who is the writer on Wings of Fate. Mackenzie Lee, who's the author of Tila, Daughter of Eternos. Andy Rogers, who's the editor of Legends of Eternia, and more. And then at 1 p.m. is McFarlane Toys. And it's just Todd McFarlane talking about toys with surprise guests and giveaways, both terms that we love over here. At 2:15 p.m. is Marvel Comics to Screen, which is X-Men 97. And it will be them giving a look at the upcoming second season. There's no one listed yet on the panel. It just says special guests. So TBD. But there will be a special comic giveaway at the end. And then at 3:30 p.m. is Marvel Comics Next Big Thing. And this panel also does not list who will be on it, but it says comic creators examining the future from Amazing Spider-Man 1000 to Infernal Hulk and beyond. And this is the one I was talking about earlier. Attendees who remain until the end will receive a special giveaway. So you cannot get your giveaway and then peace out, which I thought was funny. At 4:45 is Bold Voice of Contemporary Horror, 10th Anniversary Edition. This panel honestly has like some freaking amazing folks on it. So it's got actors and directors and more across horror. So it's got Dan Stevens, who I feel like all he has done since he left Downton Abbey is make great horror things. So love that. Deborah Ann Wall, who's about to be in Shudder's The Cycle and who you also know from things like Daredevil. Director Zachary Wiggin from Bleecker Street, Victorian Psycho. Director Dave Boyle, who did Never After Dark and more. There will also be exclusive giveaways from Camp Miasma and Victoria's Psycho. And then at 6 p.m. is Challenge Everything, the Future of Wrestling and Comics. And unnamed stars of AEW will discuss professional wrestling. And then at 7 p.m. is the homegrown Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Organic Intelligence, in which James called this panel weeks ago. So good job, James.
He really did.
You really did.
Mm-hmm.
So the director, David Farino, is bringing the film along with cast members Dan Becadel, Catherine Corcoran, Mirna Velasco, Zachary Ruzin, Samantha Bailey, and Nora Rizuki. There will be also be a special appearance by Norman, the Killer Tomato puppet star of the film. Like, we really buried the lead there, guys. Like, that's the coolest part of that panel by far. And then finally, we close out the evening with the annual Dr. Horrible screening and karaoke at 8:30 p.m., which is exactly what it sounds like. They play the film and the short film, and you can sing along and have fun. And they do karaoke. If you want to do the karaoke, though, you do need to go sign up at the California Brown Coats booth before 7 p.m.
There you go.
So in real quick in the chat, Mike Nelson said Comic-Con won't show R-rated stuff until 9 p.m. or later. So that okay. Kind of explains why
tracks then.
Yep, sure does. Okay, good job, Mike. We learned something new.
Somebody, Ultra Boy, thinks we did not give enough attention to Lea Salonga in the previous one.
Again, I said she's got Disney fans for sure. Are the Disney fans going to read that panel description? I don't know.
She will be there, though. Her name is bolded, so she is on the list of
she is
panelists.
For sure. For sure. All right.
Well,
so
what do you think? It starts out with comics. It moves into general nerddom, then to toys, then back to comics, a lot of comics, and then horror.
So McFarlane's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
X-Men
McFarlane's
97 is going to
huge.
be.
I think X-Men 97 is going to be the busiest panel.
And the Marvel Comics things. I mean, those three
Yeah,
panels,
just
is
right
it 3
together.
in a row?
Yeah.
2 in a row? Whatever it is. Just
Yep,
massive.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those two are going to be a nightmare. I also would not discount that bold voice of contemporary horror.
Mhm.
I think Dan Stevens is definitely a draw. I think Deborah Ann Wall is definitely a draw. And with it only seating 1,000, I could also see that one being pretty packed. So look, if you wanted to make it into either McFarlane or X-Men, I don't know, guys. Like, I would I would probably be there at like maybe the start of the day.
I would.
Even
Personally.
like an hour before that. So try to be there by like 9:39, something like that.
Absolutely. I would be there trying to get into that first panel so I could just sit and wait it out so I didn't have to worry. But that's, again, I'm probably different than some people where I want to make sure, I want to, like absolutely guarantee it that I'm in there. You could probably, like you said, be there sometime in the 9 o'clock hour and probably be able to skate through and get in for McFarlane. But personally, I wouldn't risk it. I would be there no later than 9.
But they're making it a nice wait for you. I mean, in the morning, the radiant black, the massive verse is very, very popular. Nerd stuff and sword things sounds like a heck of a lot of fun. So it's not going to be a painful wait at all.
But so now saying that, do you think that if you are, because this contemporary horror panel seems like if people do read who's going to be there, it looks like it's something that a lot of people will go to. So do we think that that's going to be an issue? Or do we think that like there's going to be the nearly 1,000 people cycling through and it's going to clear out for that panel?
I think it'll clear a lot. I think a lot of it'll clear out.
I think so too.
I think a lot of the people will have been there since early and they'll be ready to skate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Dan Stevens fans and Deborah Ann Wool fans, aren't both of them on other panels?
They are on other panels. Yeah.
So it's not your only chance to see them. So it might influence some people's decision to attend or not. I think, I'm not going to say it's going to be a mass exodus after the Marvel Comics things, but I think it'll be a noticeable.
Yeah. Now the real question of the day: how long do you have to wait to get into Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Ooh.
I don't think that one's going to be too difficult to get into.
Blasphemy.
I know, but again, it's 7:15 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 7:15 p.m. It's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I do think it's fun.
I wish they would tell us who is going to be at this AEW, at the wrestling one. Wish they would name. Just, I mean, even if they're just like, oh, Tony Khan's going to be there, he's going to be talking about stuff. It does, there were a few wrestlers announced, AEW wrestlers announced for one of the signings. I think Ricochet was announced, Kyle Fletcher was announced, and Tekla. I don't remember if that signing was on Thursday or if it's on this day. I don't know if those people are going to be here, but they'll at least be in town. But I don't think that that's a panel that's going to require you to worry. For sure.
Yeah. For the question in the chat, what other panel is Dan Stevens on? So far, we know that he's going to be on the A24 Onslaught panel on Thursday and this panel on Friday.
And that A24 one is a late night. It's a later in the evening.
Yeah, it's a 5:30 also.
Okay.
Yeah, so the question is also, do we think many will leave after McFarlane? No.
I mean, I think a couple will, but yeah, I think X-Men 97 is a freaking huge draw. Like, yeah. I think most will stay for that. Yeah.
because I mean it's basically a lot of the same fans. You know, people will enjoy both things, and they'll be like, well, I'm here, I'm going to stick through for the next thing that I enjoy, which is, you know, from McFarlane to Marvel, very similar. So
yeah. And then real quick, Bottle 415 asked in the chat, first time con attendee, is there a list of panels with giveaways? So Johnny and our team puts that together every year, and we're going to bug him to do that again for sure. But he is feeling a little bit under the weather, so we're giving him a little bit of slack here.
But we also have to wait till we get through Sunday to find out all of them. So we
Yeah.
need the full we need the full schedule, but he's compiling it, and he does a really great job in that.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's move on to 6 BCF. James.
all right, this room holds 2160 roughly, and it starts off at 10:15 with Marvel Rivals Ignite the Summer. It'll be featuring a bunch of the people who make Marvel Rivals, like Dino Ma, Waitai Luo, Zen Li, Pei Lin Zong, Yashin Bian, Jinghao Duan, Donger Gan, Danny Koo, Dakota Masonet, and Dan Leduca. That is a lot of people. The panel explores the visual and narrative design behind the game's latest content. At 11:30, we have Angry Birds and Pal World Epic Games with Epic Toys. And this is the people from Loyal Subjects unveils newest toys from Angry Birds 3, as well as a look at the Pal World game, and toy designer Dina Al-Rafai from Loyal Subjects will be there to talk about it, including other things like Mask and the Hunger Games. And there will be some other folks from Rocket Ship Entertainment and Rovio and Pocket Pair talking about these things. At 12:45, we have the Clash of Clans San Diego Comic-Con Talk Show Hour. It features Clash Bashing, leading community content creator, and Tom McGovern from the Wolves of Glendale, for a behind-the-scenes look at how Clash of Clans, the legendary mobile game approaching its 14th anniversary, has grown beyond the phone, featuring Fletch Mools, Scott Derman, and Ferry and Marco talking about all things Clash of Clans. At 2, we have Backyard Sports Returns. That is the beloved Backyard Sports franchise is back and bigger than ever, with a bunch of people from there, including voice actors, musicians, producers, and everything talking about the Backyard Sports. At 3:15, we have 10 years of Watch Dogs 2. We have Mia Janae from Riot Games on hand to celebrate the game's anniversary with a discussion of how Watch Dogs 2 predicted the state of AI surveillance, privacy, and digital resistance in today's world. Also featuring Ruffin Prentice, Sean Bashu, Dave Moss, Timmy Fisher, and Hudson Mohawk. We have at 4:30 Dispatch Off the Clock with the Z Team. And this is voice actors Laura Bailey from Critical Role in The Last of Us 2, Travis Willingham, also from Critical Role, Sean McLaughlin, Alana Pierce, Thought Squad, Young Gravy, Joel Haver, Mayana Barron, Lance Konstopoulos, and more, joining to talk about characters of the award-winning video game Dispatch to Life. And then breaking from the video game theme at 5:45, we have a spotlight on Jim Cummings. Legendary voice actor Jim Cummings discusses his 40-plus year career doing voices for characters such as Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Darkwing Duck, Hondo Anaka, did a little bit of singing as Scar in The Lion King, and many, many other things over 40 years. So many things, you would not be able to name them all. If you have a chance to see this panel, I highly recommend it. Jim Cummings is so entertaining. Very, very entertaining. And then at 7, we have Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. Juju Green, aka Straw Hat Goofy, hosts a live episode featuring conversations with celebrities and filmmakers about upcoming projects. And then finally at 8:15, we have Lumpia Pop, unwrapping contemporary Filipino-American pop culture. This is the folks from Kid Hero Productions talking all about Lumpia, their Lumpia film and comic books, and everything involved with their Kid Heroes Productions. And there will be a free print giveaway.
Don't forget, Apple D App's going to be there.
From the Black Eyed Peas.
And our good friend Patrick Ballesteros.
Nice.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, I think the biggest problems in this room are for sure Dispatch and potentially Jim Cummings, but for sure Dispatch. with 2 of the Critical Role people on that panel, like that's pretty much all you had to say. In my
And there hasn't been any other Critical Role stuff announced as of yet. Is that correct?
No, I haven't seen anything, so I don't think they're necessarily going this year. So like
this could be your
the critters are, I think, gonna come out in force for this one. Yeah.
So that spotlight on Jim Cummings, it is a 2,000 seat room, but he is a huge draw. But I don't know if it's a big enough draw to fill the room.
I don't either. And I do wonder about that. I think, look, personally, I think Dispatch is. So if you wanted to see Dispatch, like I would probably get there like before 10 years of Watch Dogs 2 goes in. And like maybe you make it in time for Watch Dogs. And if not, like hopefully you'll make it in time for Dispatch.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
It's a fun room, but it's all video games, all for the first half, and then other stuff for the second half. So,
Yep. All right. Well, let's talk Indigo. So this one holds 2,663. And as we talked about earlier, if you missed it, the lineup and getting into the panel room takes significantly longer on this, not just because it is at the Hilton Bayfront, so it takes longer to walk over there, but their load-in procedure takes significantly longer. So make sure you add some extra time for that. But we kick things off at 10 a.m. with regular show The Lost Tapes, in which creator J.G. Quintel will be there along with the voices of Rigby and Pops to offer an inside look at the series. At 11 a.m. is Adventure Time Side Quests with members of the creative team and voice cast, not named. And then at 12 p.m. is Common Side Effects Season 2, as they talk about that series with co-creators Joe Bennett and Steve Helly. At 1 p.m. is the President Curtis premiere panel, which this is the new series co-created by Dan Herman and James Siciliano and starring Keith David, who will be there. So they will be, I believe, showing the episode, considering it says premiere, and then they'll give you a Q&A. At 2 p.m. is My Adventures with Superman, Season 3, and although the cast is not listed, we do have that, which includes Jack Quaid, Alice Lee, Ismail Saeed, Kiana Madeira, as well as like the showrunners and a writer. At 3 p.m. is Rick and Morty, Season 9, in which Dan Harmon will be back again, this time with Scott Marder for a look at Season 9. It also says the entire voice cast, so hopefully that happens. At 4 p.m. is King of the Hill, which this will have producers Mike Judge and Greg Daniels, as well as Saladin Patterson, and then cast members Kathy Najimy, Stephen Root, Lauren Tom, Toby Huss, and Ashley Gardner, as they share an inside look at the new season. And then they clear that room for a couple of hours because they have to rearrange things for the Will Eisner Comic Industry Awards that evening at 8 p.m., which this year will be hosted by Phil Lamar and Thomas Lennon. So I'm sure that's going to be a super fun time.
So what do you think about that room?
It's so hard to tell because, like, there's absolutely tons of animation fans. I feel like the draws in this room, Rick and Morty is for sure still very popular, but I don't think it's as popular as it used to be. I think King of the Hill is for sure like the biggest panel in this room, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that it's in this room and not Farm 20. Was it in Indigo last year? I'm not sure. But yeah, I think King of the Hill is for sure the draw in this room.
I was wondering how popular Adventure Time still was.
Yeah, I am not 100% certain about that either. I know, it's so hard to tell with some of these.
These are all new adventures.
I know. I'm like,
Rick and Morty, I think it's been a while.
Like, yeah, Rick and Morty like used to be absolutely huge, but I feel like it's waned quite a bit. So I feel like the only one you might have trouble with is King of the Hill. But with all of these panels, give yourself extra time, especially because of that really slow load-in procedure. So whatever you're thinking for time, like probably double it, maybe even a little bit longer if you weren't thinking very long.
If you're interested in one of these and you want to like maximize your time, this is absolutely one of the key ones. You want to pay attention to social media and see what is happening over on that line from people that are over there, and ask questions like, use the hashtag, hey, has anyone got eyes on Indigo line? And just keep an eye on it, because that will really help you throughout the day to plan if you want to be there for a specific panel only. And, if people are like, yeah, it's walk-in right now, you're like, cool, I know I have a little bit of time. So this is one of the main ones I would do that for, because of the fact that it's that trek over there.
Should we talk about Bobby Bloody? Your room?
Let's do it. My room. It's not my room this year.
No. Are you gonna? Do you think you'll be in here this day?
No.
You think you got other things to do? Someplace else you'd rather be, Carrie?
Yeah. I can't imagine what. We'll get to it.
We'll get to that. Yeah. Ballroom 20, 4,800 people, starting at 10 a.m. with DreamWorks Animation's Forgotten Island. Filmmakers and stars of Forgotten Island are going to share a look inside the new original film. They do not list anybody, but there's a few possibilities. I made note of who I would love to see there. Manny Jacinto, Jenny Slate, Ronnie Chang. Those are all possible. I mean, there's a ton of Dave Franco's in it. Dolly DeLeon, who is doing a marvelous turn in Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed right now. She could be there. We don't know who's going to be there, but there's some really great possibilities. At 11:15, it's The Dead and the Undead. This is a CBS Studios panel. Now, this is not one of the ones that Carrie would have slept through. Definitely.
I love Ghosts.
I know. You would not have slept. Yeah. This is a new and different CBS. The Ghost exclusive panel.
They're doing good things.
They really are. And the Eternally Yours premiere screening. Utkarsh, Asher, Sheila, Roman, a whole bunch of people from Ghosts. It's in its 5th consecutive year. I don't think they've missed a Comic-Con, have they? I feel like they've been here. I feel like they've been here every single time. They're going to talk about season 5. They're going to talk about the cliffhanger. They're going to talk about season 6. And then afterwards, we're going to get to talk about the new supernatural comedy series, Eternally Yours. 2 vampires who have been married for 500 years and their struggles to accept the human who is dating their daughter. This is starring Ed Weeks, who you might remember from the Mindy Project, Allegra Edwards. And then the screening will be followed by a conversation with some of those stars. Collider's Perry Nemiroff is going to be moderating.
So I will say, this panel is longer than an hour. It's 75 minutes, but this still feels like a lot to do in 75 minutes. It does. So they're gonna show this episode, which is probably like 22 minutes long. They're gonna have a conversation with that other cast, and then they're still gonna do Ghosts. So I'm very happy for you, CBS, but I do feel like Ghosts is probably getting the slightly short end of the stick here. But
I bet they will breeze through it, and then they they're going to have to introduce everybody, and everyone's going to be clapping, and it's like no one's going to have a chance to talk, are they?
This is what's going to happen. Ghost is first, right?
I think so.
Ghost is first. They're going to ask questions. They're going to have the moderator doing the things they're supposed to be doing. Everything's going to take longer than they feel like it should. They're going to show the episode, and they're going to bring out the cast of that episode, and they're going to be like, you guys have 3 minutes.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And Jay Peterman said in the chat, I believe they had a panel the strike year that was canceled. That is absolutely correct. They still came and they just showed an episode. There was no cast, but they were just like, we're just going to show you an episode of Ghosts. So look, Ghosts still came even during the strike.
Thank you for that clarification. Yes. After that, it's at 12:45. It's TV Guide Magazine's fan favorites of 2026. Damian Holbrook is going to be talking about the fans. He's going to be talking with some stars from current and returning shows. Doesn't mention any of them yet, but he always has good people.
They typically
Yeah.
announce the panelists for this usually like a week or so before the convention. I will tell you, we know for sure my Vampire Lestat folks will not be on this panel because they're in a panel at the same time in
At the
another
same
room.
exact time. No Vampire
So,
Lestat,
cross that
folks.
one off. Yep.
Yeah. After that, at 1:45, it's Roadside Attractions and Saban Films. Buddy, everyone's favorite orange unicorn from the deranged mind of Casper Kelly. Producers of Barbarian, Friendship, and Weapons, and also Adult Swim visionary Casper Kelly, who did Too Many Cooks. Comes this new, I think is it a series? It's called Buddy. What begins as a playful throwback to the 1990s kids programming spirals into a surreal, grisly descent into terror.
This is, I mean, maybe this
sounds
is cool,
wild.
but this was for sure the thing today when I was like looking at the schedule and I was like, how did this get here? Like, I feel like we're bringing the guy who did Too Many Cooks.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? What is happening?
It is a movie too. It is a movie.
Okay, it's a movie. All right.
There we go. All right.
Oh,
All
it does
right.
say the film will be released on August 28th. Yes. Thank you. At 3:00, it's Collider's showrunners on showrunning. This is the 4th panel for Stephen Weintraub from Collider. And this is, I think, the first time he's done showrunners. We've had producers, we've had directors.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So he is going to be bringing Greg Daniels, Office, Parks and Recreation, King of the Hill, Katie Dippold, creator of Widow's Bay, and Damien Lindelof, who you may know from Watchmen, Leftovers, and Lost. They'll share stories from the writer's room, the set, and everywhere in between. And like I said, it's moderated by Collider Stephen Weintraub.
And Lindelof really is here because he's doing Lanterns. But yeah. I think it's funny that they didn't
even include that one.
Like the thing that he's here for? Sure.
Yeah. At 4:15, it's Kirkman, McFarlane, Liefeld, Silvestri, Stevenson. This is the Image Comics Legends together on one stage. These are some of the founders and the partners. Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, Robert Kirkman, Eric Stevenson. They're going to explore the risks that sent shockwaves through the comic world and forever changed the landscape of the industry. After that, at 5:30, it's God of War, Laufey, forging God of War's next hero. Ariel Lawrence, the game director for God of War, Laufey, and Corey Barlog, head of creative for Santa Monica Studio. They're going to lead a conversation with the cast for the first time since the game's revealed. They're going to share some new details and some behind the scenes. Now, they don't mention in the cast, but the cast, this is one of the, is it Deborah that's in this? I thought maybe this is it's somebody important. All right. And then this is the Avatar, The Last Airbender special fan screening I was thinking of earlier from 7 to 9 p.m. This is exclusive screening of Avatar, Aang, The Last Airbender, before it premieres on Paramount Plus.
Yep.
What a wild day.
All right. There's a lot going on in here. So the real question is, do we think anything is going to pack this? I think there's absolutely things in here that's going to get like the room very full, but I don't know that it's going to be like fighting to get in. Now, DreamWorks the last couple years has been in much, much smaller rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've been in like 6A and 6BCF the last couple years. So
then it makes me wonder what part of the cast they're going to bring. Who else is on that? The DreamWorks, The Forgotten Island. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I only picked my favorites. I only want Ronnie Chang to be there. I don't know what I'm saying. Everyone knows I don't go to panels.
Okay, all right.
I'm acting like I'm going to go, and you know.
So other folks on this in this film include Dave Franco and Lea Salonga. So
all right,
there's the possibility. Yep.
There's a good chance then.
Yes. So we'll see. I don't know. Again, I just don't think any of these are going to be like incredibly hard to get into. As always, the wild card is TV Guide's fan favorite magazines because we don't know who's on it. Yep. So if they announce like someone truly insane, like who knows? But I don't think any of these are going to be hard.
Having being old and having lived through the introduction of Image Comics into the comic world, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And these guys are like icons of the comic industry, and they're all
Absolutely.
on one panel. But are they 5,000 people strong to fill this room?
And it's right in the middle. It's right in the middle of a block of stuff that.
So they will definitely get a lot of people filling this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is, to me, this panel is the biggest wild card of the day. Because we just don't know if all of the fans of these 5 people are going to come in and be like, yeah, that's the panel. I want to see them all at once because we never see them together.
Yeah. And that is totally possible. Absolutely. Rye Will Watch in the chat said, with no guest listed for TV Guide 1, my initial continued reaction is why the ballroom. I'm going to argue with you. This is a huge panel every single year. They cannot announce the guests earlier because like they don't necessarily know who's at the conventions. Like they have to see the schedule and then like get their guests from that, like same as you and me a lot of the times. But if you look back, like they've had some of the biggest names like in TV on that panel. So yeah. I'm going to argue with you.
It usually is pretty big.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you are a fan of TV, like you know what that panel is.
Yeah. Iron Souls says Deborah Ann Wool is the lead in that game, lead voice actors in that game. So yes, and then Kim205 says Jack Quaid is announced for the God of War panel. Deborah Ann Wool, Christopher Judge. Okay, fantastic.
Jack Quaid is showing up here again.
Yeah.
Last time he was on like 4.
And then just another mention, Mike Nelson says that Buddy has Patton Oswald in it. And we all know that he does like to show up at panels.
What about the screening? Is that something that you have to have? That's just a come as you will? Or?
It's just a come as you will. And I don't think it's going to be incredibly packed. I mean,
it's late.
It's late. I hate to say it, but the film did leak online like months and months ago.
When the screening was announced, that was the primary thing that people were talking about it when we were looking at the social media feeds.
That's the only reason I know is because that's what like everyone on social media was saying. So I don't think that screening, if you want to go, is going to be hard to get into in the slightest. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the big. Right. Let's talk about where Carrie's going to be this day.
Don't make me. All right. So Carrie, they did me dirty, guys. They moved my vampire show over to Hall H, and now I have to do Hall H.
But is it a good idea, or do you want to wait and talk about that at the end? Because
I can talk about it right now. Okay. I can talk about it right now. So look, I think this is actually great news for if you are a fan of the Vampire Lestat. I think this is actually great news for the show, not me personally, but for the show, because I think it shows that like AMC believes enough in the Vampire Lestat. Because what you have to understand is like a lot of these where things wind up is not just Comic-Con being like, we're going to put you here. Like the studios definitely get at least like some say. So I feel like AMC probably was like, we would like to move. And last year was super well attended. It was packed. I have literally never been to a panel at Comic-Con where they like screamed so much that they replayed the trailer a second time. So logistically, I understand. But I don't like Hall H, guys. It's soulless. Like, it's a cavern. You're not close. It's dark. The lighting is terrible. Like, I hate it. Don't make me.
Look, the lighting has gotten way better than, like, 6 or 7 years. So, at some point in the last 5 to 7 years, they've really increased and made the lighting better. All right.
Okay, but
I will not 10
other things.
Disagree with you about the
you have to
cavernness
to get
of it.
in there.
It's soulless. I'm telling you, man. Like Ballroom 20 has like a heart and a soul. Hall H is like where you go to die. Okay.
All
I
right.
told you at the start of this, I was
Okay.
like, we'll see how much I bash Hall H. All right. All right. Hall H. 10 a.m. We are kicking things off with Prime Video with Blade Runner 2099 and Lord of the Rings of Power. I don't believe we know panelists yet for that panel. But it's going to be exactly what it sounds like. It is the upcoming series Blade Runner 2099, which we have seen like nothing for. So they should be able to show up quite a bit, as well as the upcoming season 3 of Rings of Power, which comes out in like November. At 11:45 is The Walking Dead Dead City Season 3, which premieres literally Sunday of Comic-Con. So they should definitely have stuff to show everyone, and they promise exclusive sneak peeks. And the cast in attendance will be Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Lauren Cohen, Jimmy Simpson, Amy Garcia, as well as the showrunner. At 12:30 is the Vampire Lestat, and even though Sked does not list who will be there, we do know. So that's going to be Jacob Anderson, Asad Zaman, Eric Bogosian, alongside the showrunner Ron Jones, executive producer Mark Johnson, writer Hannah Moscovich, and they're going to be showing some footage from the Beacon Theater performance that they did in New York.
I
very hopeful.
haven't heard of that.
You haven't what?
Haven't heard of that.
Not at all. Not at
Nope.
all. I remain very hopeful that we get a season 4 announcement, and I live in eternal delusion that maybe we're going to get a Night Island spinoff. So we'll see.
Now,
At 1:30
didn't you spoke with Roland Jones though?
So I did speak with Roland at ATX, and I asked him, as I do every year, are you going to Comic-Con? And he said, we really don't know right now, but if we do, that means odds are very good for a season 4. So I really think they're going to announce season 4, and I think if there was not a season 4 in the bag, again, they would not have put this in Hall H. Yeah. So they announced season 3 2 years ago over in Ballroom 20. I'm also going to say real quick, series star Sam Reed will not be in attendance, the guy who plays the stat, because he is off in Australia doing a play, but I'm sure we'll still get something from him. So whether that's like a pre-recorded message or if he even calls in live during the panel, which has happened before in other panels. So I think he will absolutely be represented in some manner. But if he is not there, again, that feels like a good time to announce a Night Island spinoff. But maybe I'm delusional. All right. At 1:30 is Lanterns, which is obviously the Green Lantern series from HBO Max. And we're going to have Kyle Chandler, Aaron Pierre, Garrett Dillahunt, Porta Jagnathan, as well as the co-creators, including, Damon Lindelof and Tom King and Chris Mundy. And yeah, it's just going to be them talking about the upcoming show, and I'm sure we'll get some footage, and I'm sure it's going to be a real fun time. Over at 2:45 is the one I'm still not sure how this is at Hall H, is Grimm, the 15th anniversary reunion as part of NBC's 100th birthday celebration. So far, they have brought us one panel, and it is Grimm. Sure. And even though this does not list panelists we do know, which includes David Giantoli, Elizabeth Tulloch, Silas Weir, Russell Hornsby, Sasha Roas, Bree Turner, Reggie Lee, and David Greenwalt. And then the moderator will actually be Alex Denisoff of Buffy fame. So yeah, that should be a good time. And I think, again, given the fact that it's here, there's been a lot of rumblings about like a reunion. So that sure feels like a place to make that announcement in Hall H. At 4 p.m. is Spaceballs. We don't know who's going to be on this panel. They don't say. There's so many possibilities. Like, are we going to get Bill Pullman? Are we going to get Mel Brooks? I don't know. Sounds like Josh Gad would sure make sense as well for that Breaking Bear thing. So maybe he will be there. But yeah, we don't know. And this was a really fun surprise for us today. And then at 5:15 p.m. is Cineverse, Return of a Masterpiece, the 20th anniversary of Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. And Collider, again, is bringing the masterpiece that is Pan's Labyrinth here for its 20th anniversary, including, so Guillermo will be there, as well as actors Doug Jones and Ivana Baquero, alongside the cinematographer, and they will, it's all in promotion for the re-release in 4K this October. They'll have never before seen interviews and more. And that does it.
And they've announced a whole lot of Pan's Labyrinth stuff just right before we went on the right before we went live.
Yeah. So there's like a whole, like, you go
quest.
Find the character. Yeah, they're calling it a fetch quest, but it's basically you go and like find the characters. Okay, in the chat, people are already correcting me. So Kiki Palmer will for sure be there for Spaceballs. That is correct, because she is on other panels in the week. She's on that.
She's moderating.
Yep. And then Damien said Josh Gaddis posted that he will be there for Spaceballs on his Instagram. So
he'll be there to be on the panel or just to see the panel. We don't know.
I'm sure he will be on the panel.
I was gonna say
maybe he's just a big fan of Hall H.
No, I think he will be there for the panel. So there we go. So
okay, so let's talk it all through from the very beginning.
I don't even know. I feel like there's some really great stuff in here, and I think it's going to be crowded. But I don't know, man. I do not think any of this is going to require a huge wait. Would you agree with that, James?
Yeah, it's also I feel like turnover city in this room.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the Lord of the Rings folks, the Blade Runner, Lord of the Rings folks,
Walking Dead folks.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the vampire people will leave. The Lanterns people will leave. Yeah,
and
you are correct.
Here's the problem with that. When there is a lot of turnover in Hall H, everything gets bogged down. Everything takes even longer than you expect. So even though it may not be completely full, if there is a line, that line will take forever. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, but the good news is that be prepared is get in line 3 hours before, not 9 p.m. the night before.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm sure there are some people that are aghast. 3 hours.
If you want to see
3 hours is not long when we're talking about Hall H.
If you want to see one of the first 3 panels, I think it's worth your time to go wait in the wristband line to get a wristband and then go back to your hotel.
I agree.
I feel like the first 3 panels are worth that, because after that, you can just show up a few hours before your panel and most likely get in.
So let's clarify that real quick for anybody who does not know. So again, the way that the wristbands work is once you have a wristband, you have 2 choices. Okay. You can either stay there or at least have somebody hold your spot in line. You can hold spots for up to 2 additional people. Or if you don't want to do that, once you get your wristband, like James was saying, you can go back to your hotel, go to sleep. Now, when you come back, you won't necessarily, let's say you had a B wristband. You might not still be with Bs. You're going to go to the end of the line if nobody waited. But then they're going to let you in. However, that is only for the first panel of the day. Once they have let that line in, if you're well, I want to see the Vampire Lestat and I've got my wristband so I can show up at 10 a.m. No. That's not how that works. When do you have to be back, James? Isn't it?
I think it's 7 a.m.
Yeah, 7 or 7:30. I think it was what
it
was last year.
Yeah. So they will announce the wristband distribution times likely on Monday once the full schedule is out. So pay attention to that. But yeah, if you get a wristband, that's how it works. Just again, know that you do still have to be in line by, we believe, 7 a.m. in order to get in. So just be aware.
Basically do your homework if you haven't done this before. A lot of us have, so we know the process. But if you haven't done it before, definitely do your homework on when wristbands are getting handed out, and be in line to get those, and then make your decisions based on your group, or if you're alone, or whatever it may be, as to whether you're going to wait in line or just come back in the morning before the time that they say you have to be back in line.
Yep.
Can I just come and swap places with you, Carrie? Is that allowed? You leave vampire and I'll come in for lanterns. We'll just magically swap places.
That doesn't work because that's a panel. It's a panel.
I know. It's a panel, and I don't get to go to panels. Not don't get to. I don't put in the effort. But
Yeah.
Garrett Dillahunt's going to be there.
Aaron.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went to a panel?
It was before I worked with the blog. It was a video game panel. I think it was for Red Dead Redemption, maybe the first Red Dead Redemption, maybe. No, wait. I changed all the. It was for the event. The TV show, the NBC TV show, The Event. That's the last.
I don't even remember. I'm like, have I
was like
even
maybe
heard of that? Like,
it was
what year was
2010.
this? 16 years ago.
2010. Yeah. Yep. That's it. Now, it's not that I haven't tried. There were several that I stood in line for and then never got in the room. Oh,
God.
Me and Carrie are looking like, wait.
I know. People.
It's
do
weird
go
when
to
I don't
Comic-Con
attend. When I
without
don't
going
attend a
to
panel for a day of Comic-Con,
Ugh,
something is
right.
off.
Something's wrong.
Same. I'm like, you have a very different Comic-Con experience than I do, Aaron.
I do. That's what's so great about Comic-Con. We can both have an amazing time doing completely different things. I'll tell you that I will say though, Garrett Dillahunt would get me in Hall H if I didn't have to stand in line.
Okay. All right. Duly noted. Okay. Well, that was an incredible note to finish that off on.
Yep.
So let's talk general impressions of Friday. I think it's another strong day.
I think it's a really good day.
Yeah. Again, if you have multiple things that you want to do in multiple rooms, it's a good schedule. That's my basic, like, it's good or not. But also for someone like Carrie, having the one thing that they wanted to see at Comic-Con actually be at Comic-Con.
Ruined my whole week.
Yep.
What ruined it is where it is, not that it's there.
Correct. 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
Elizabeth is pointing out in the chat that you don't stand in line; you sit in line and chit chat.
Oh, see,
doing it wrong.
I do love to chit chat.
Line friends are the best. What do you? That's great.
They really
line
are.
sitting and chatting with people. That's the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway,
again, what we need, Aaron, is to do we need to do like an entire Patreon podcast where it's literally just me and James sitting here being like, what do you do at Comic-Con?
What do you do at Comic-Con?
break out your spreadsheet. Let's show it on the screen and let's see what you actually do at Comic-Con.
Yep.
Step by step. Yeah.
How do you spend your time? And I will say that it's not doing business. Like, I own a comic book store, but I am not there for my comic book store. I might pick up a few things from my comic book store, but I'm definitely not like networking or educating myself, even though there's like an entire day. If I think Friday is like, there's an entire day full of like ways I could be like educating myself in the retail business, but you know.
Okay. Well, we've got a couple of votes in the chat here for that podcast, so that may happen.
That's gonna happen.
All right.
So yes,
let's
Friday
talk
looks very good. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Yep.
A lot of fun things, a lot of cool people. So once again, it's a great schedule. I think that this is coming through as a very good schedule so far, and I can't wait to see what the next 2 days bring.
Yes. But we have our dark horses. Let's talk about those.
Yes.
Carrie, start us off.
Okay. I've picked another panel that has the apparently, the reference. But I didn't pick it for the pit. So Rachel Leishman, who is the editor-in-chief over at the Mary Sue, she will be leading a conversation with other journalists about fandom and entertainment journalism and criticism, which is something very near and dear to my heart, in which she will be discussing coverage and community response around, guess what, Interview with a Vampire, The Pit, Heated Rivalry, and other fandoms. I think this sounds really fun. I vaguely know some of the people on this panel, and I quite like what I do know of them, but that is at 3:30 p.m. in 26AB. And if you are at all interested in like fandom spaces or the people who cover those, I think this could be really interesting. And my friend Rodham Rusak over at Nerdist will also be on this panel, even though she is not listed. And then I have one more, and I am shocked no one else picked this. At 2:30 p.m. in room 5AB is John Cusack talking about his...
Right?
I put mine on here last, and I was like, they'll have put this. No one did. Okay. So he's here to talk about his very first graphic novel, Momo, along with fellow actor and comic creator David Dastmalchian. They're just going to talk about their projects and the cross between media and film. And I think that's really cool. And I think it's really interesting that they thought he was big enough to be in the exclusives portal for a signing, but the panel is in 5AB. Okay.
I think I might have skipped it because I thought for sure we were covering it in our bigger rooms.
Yeah, I think I thought it may.
No,
surely it's got to be in a bigger room.
No.
This is like having the Muppets in the 800 seat room or something like that. It's kind of similar vibes.
It's crazy to me, but I think that will be really cool, and I love John Cusack. So
I just want to bring up, someone in the chat asked if I wanted to see Grimm, I need to get in line for Hall H 3 hours before the panel starts. No, I don't think so. I think that's the one panel you could probably get in line. Like someone says, during the Listat panel, you could probably get in line half an hour to an hour before the panel starts, and you should be okay.
Agreed.
And if you get in early, you get to see Garrett Dillahunt in Lanterns. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got a couple dark horses. My first one was in room 9 at 7. It's Making the World of Fallout at the Atomic Museum. This is a collaboration between Bethesda Games Studio and the Atomic Museum in Las Vegas. They have a new exhibit, The World of Fallout. Has a lot of highlights and parallels between fictional post-nuclear settings and the actual reality. And also they're going to do a preview of major exhibit expansion. I love the World of Fallout. I love how it feels both old and new kind of at the same time. I love the music, and I love the aesthetics. So I think this sounds like a really interesting, fun panel, and to see how that, because when I watch my husband play the game, because I don't play the games myself, but when I look at the game and I watch the TV show, sometimes I forget, like, oh, this is all based on stuff that actually happened. So I think this panel would be a good chance for me to remember that. And the second one I did is in room 24 ABC, and that's at 3:30 in the afternoon. And it's You're Wrong Again, Leonard Maltin. And Leonard Maltin, I think, comes every year and always seems to have a panel. He is one of the most recognized film experts in the country. And his daughter, Jessie Maltin, is going to be there moderating. And it's a chance to match wits against him. So if you think you know a lot about movies, this is the chance to prove it, which I think is fun.
Yes, I agree.
Entertaining.
I would do middling against him, probably.
Middling, you think?
Middling. Very mid.
Mid.
All right. I have 3. And the first one is in room 10 at 2:30. It's called Two Marks Explain Everything. And it's our returning guest every year, Mark Evanier, and the great comic writer, Mark Wade. where they basically sit there and you get to ask them questions, and most likely they know the answer because they have been around in comics and other things forever.
Doesn't Mark Waid do a panel that's similar to that where people can test him?
Probably.
Like he's done a panel where people can ask him questions to see if he, and the guy knows everything.
Yeah.
And
so they'll talk about comics. Yeah. And Mark Evanier has been around at Comic-Con and other things.
He remembers everything.
Yeah. For over 50 years, over 60 years, whatever it is.
How many panels is Mark on and or moderating? Mark Evanier, I mean.
I don't know, but I know that on Thursday he's moderating 4 panels in a row in one room.
Yep.
That's good. They're not making him run around.
They're not making him move around too much.
That's good. That's very thoughtful.
And then my next 2 have a similar theme, and that is they're celebrating San Diego, where the convention is. The first one is in Grand 10 and 11 over at the Marriott Marquis. It is a conversation with San Diego celebrities Gabriel Wisdom and Shotgun Tom Kelly. They are local celebrities who are sharing their stories from their multi-decade careers in radio and TV. Gabriel was a longtime radio personality and a special part of the early days of the con, helping promote it to the San Diego community. And then he published a book in 2025, and Shotgun Tom Kelly is being inducted this year into the Radio Hall of Fame. Currently hosts a program on SiriusXM and also published a book recently. So both of these legends of the local area are going to be on a panel together. And then also from San Diego, we have in room 24 ABC at 7:30 p.m. San Diego Kids to Hollywood Artists. And this is folks who grew up in San Diego and made it big. Jeff Ronjo is at Warner Brothers. Joe Mosier is at Warner Brothers. Ricky Nerva is at Pixar. Esther Tejano is at Netflix. And Justin Parpin is at Disney. And they're just going to talk about, growing up in San Diego and then making it big in animation. So I think that's really cool.
It is
great
cool.
picks. Great picks, everybody. So that's it.
That's it
for Wednesday,
which is
nothing. Thursday and Friday. We have 2 more days to go over.
Yep.
The schedule will be released. Schedule for Saturday will be released tomorrow, and the schedule for Sunday will be released Sunday. Yes.
Yes.
So we will be doing our Sunday podcast, which again will cover Saturday and Sunday's panel schedules on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing this, all again. Hopefully this was helpful, and I really do just want to give a shout out. I know, I bitched a lot about Hall H, but I am always so incredibly impressed by what this team manages to pull together for us for panels. Panels to me are my favorite part of this convention, and I just think it's so cool. We have such an eclectic mix of everything, and I think they've got some really big names this year. It's really fun surprises. I just think it's a really great schedule so far.
Yep.
Just
someone
one
asked a
thing
question.
I would change.
I know.
Yes, this question here that you just put into the outline here. Yes, let's answer this.
Yes.
Mikey P asked, thoughts on room 24 ABC, Smallville's Kristen Cruick at 10:30, but Matt Dinneman right after. Do you think the Dungeon Crawler Carl fans will fill the room up early? Not if the Kristen Cruick fans get there first. You guys are in a race to see how early you get in line, basically.
Yeah.
So get there early if you want to see one or the other beat the others. That's what I'm saying, because they're both very popular, and this room holds maybe 300 or 400. Maybe.
Yeah. Anything with Dungeon Crawler Carl right now is going to be absolutely packed to the gills. 100%.
I mean, if I wanted to see this, I would be one of those crazy people getting in line at 5 a.m. just because I have to be there. Oh yeah. Yeah, because that way you're
not crazy.
You're in the line before they start letting in, and that way you have the chance to get there before a bunch of the people who show up and then have to deal with figuring out while the line is moving what's happening. So you're there before the madness of the line moving, and that's I think a wise choice if you want to guarantee yourself a good spot.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Well,
I just want to mention too that Rye will watch says Mark has 4 panels each on Thursday and Friday. So that's
All in
at
one room
least
each.
8, all in one room each. Good for them. That's
Crazy.
awesome.
Question about her universe, because that is all the way over at which one is it? The Hyatt?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of all
So
of them.
that's where you have to get the tickets, and then coming back to get, is it the Gundam panel?
Oh.
I don't know that you'll be able to do that, because first of all, I think Gundam's going to be like so packed.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. All the stuff that's
I think
happening.
that does it.
Yeah.
Is we doing anything like Attendee of the Week still, or is that done for the year?
So we are still doing Attendee of the Week. There is one more that is coming next Friday. So we technically posted the question in the chat. If you saw my misscheduled tweet, you probably already know what the question was. And if you already submitted for it, you're fine. We have your entry. I do just want to mention a couple things. Bracelet meetups will for sure be back. They will probably not be posted until very late next week, mostly because I don't actually know what the heck my schedule is right now, except for Friday. So I have to figure that out before I can tell you things. I'm very sorry. They will be happening. There will, no matter what, be one on Wednesday night at like 9 or 10, no matter what. But for the rest of them, I don't know yet, guys. Prize Mule will absolutely be returning. We have so many amazing companies. Mattel literally today confirmed they're in. I don't know for 100% certainty, but I think they're actually sending us a bunch of the like Skeletor exclusives for the year. So
oh my goodness.
Really?
I know. I think so. I mean, they told me they're sending me Masters of the Universe stuff, and she was like, she said exclusive, so I'm like, I am assuming that's the Skeletor.
Wow.
We'll see.
You get a Jim Bro Skeletor. You get a Jim Bro Skeletor. You get it.
So we'll see.
We'll just be given.
But yeah, there's so many amazing companies. We're so incredibly grateful. And on that note, if you in turn are grateful for the work that we do, we have a Patreon. So if you guys are unaware, like, we all have jobs. Like, this is not our career. Like, every single one of us has a real job.
Some of them have 2 jobs.
I have 2 jobs technically. Yes. On top of this. Yeah, and guys, like, you don't understand like how incredibly hard we work behind the scenes. And I should probably stop myself from saying some of this, but look, like, I know some of you guys are like, they should just like post the offsite links like in their tweets, and like, we don't need anything else from them. Like, context matters, absolutely. And I, at least, am incredibly proud of the work that we do, not only to bring you guys the news, but to find you guys the news. Like, this is basically another full-time job and then some. I got up at 4 a.m. this morning. I'm going to bed after midnight, and I'm getting up at 4 a.m. again tomorrow. Like, this is what we do. So anyway, that is my little rant. This has been a very long week.
It's been a trying couple of days, and we also had some website issues. It put a strain on all of us. It has been a long week.
Yes.
Yes, it has for sure.
They've powered through.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of internal stuff where it's just been crazy, and but everything, they get it all the news out to you in incredibly fast manner.
We try.
And
we're doing the best that we can.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. So yes. So if you appreciate that, you don't have to pay all year long. If you just want to give us a month of a gift, that would be great, because right now, yeah, everybody's looking at the site and the hosting bill is going to be insane. So anything you can do, if not, just say thank you. You know?
Yeah, a kind tweet is, I tell you what, there were a couple of very kind tweets regarding my Under the Tents posts, and they nearly brought tears to my eyes. I felt so I felt so appreciated. And it's like, this is exactly what I need. Just a little over the internet hug.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So yes,
Absolutely.
we're not doing this to brag or anything. We do this because we
No.
love Comic-Con, not because we're trying
And
to
yes.
do whatever.
And
Yeah.
I legitimately, like, guys, Aaron and I keep saying, like, it's kind of funny. Like, we're spending all of our time helping everyone else prep. And I'm like, I feel so, like, unprepared on my own. And I know she does as well. Like, I'm like, yeah.
So if you wonder why we don't do a podcast right before Comic-Con, that's why. There's no way we could.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
So anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Half of us would be in hotel rooms.
Yes. Anyway, I'm very sorry. I did not mean to be like, woe is me. But I truly cannot wait to see you guys at Comic-Con, because as much work as this is, every single year when we get there and we get to see you guys in person and we get to hear like how much like what we do helped you guys have a great convention. Like, it makes absolutely all of this work worth it. Yes. So I cannot wait. I get to be in San Diego a week from today.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I leave
terrifying.
I leave a week from tomorrow, so
looking
forward.
Yes. Yes.
I get to point as you guys fly overhead.
Hey.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
That's it. That's going to be it for today. We will be back, as Carrie mentioned, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern on Sunday for part 2 of the breakdown. We will be back on Tuesday for the last regular episode of the Concast before Comic-Con. We are going to have Mark Olson from the San Diego Metropolitan Transit Service to come on and talk about the trolleys and whatever else is going on with the trolley system. And so, yeah, join us for that. And, 12 days before Comic-Con, let's go.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's now 2.5 hours. So thanks you all for sticking out.
With us.
Yeah. Aaron, where can we find more of you on the internet?
Yes, I'm on all the socials at Bavarian Aaron. Carrie, where can we find more of your work on the internet besides the blog?
In the 5 minutes a day that I get to be let out of my Comic-Con news enclosure, I am on my Twitter at Carrie Dixon talking about vampires. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You may have noticed there's a lot of Lorcana stuff here. I talk about Lorcana a lot on the Overexerted podcast. I am everywhere online at Dan Regal or The Dan Regal on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you to Beth, who will get this into your ears and doing all the things to help get this show edited and everything.
We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links will be up on the blog, or you can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio, and the link is in the show notes.
And if you want to get a hold of us, puppy! If you want to get a hold of us or the puppy, you can send an email to info@sdccblog.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you again, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of days. And go Shawarma puppy. Bam. Done.
Okay. I was probably way too chaotic, but that was fun.